stream and see if we get our feed, and then we should be ready to... Yes. Is this shit like... It's live already. You gotta be kidding me. Like, it's just... We're literally just live right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute us out. On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt returns to reality after his 40th, so he will probably be cranky. But the dudes have some Star Wars to talk about. They'll riff on the new lightsaber book, Darth Vader No. 3's new canon additions, and Mando's epic Emmy nods. They'll also discuss new insights into Moff Gideon from Giancarlo Esposito himself, and a Kenobi casting call that may hint at some famous kids being in the show. Of course, they'll touch on the viral Star Wars TikTok from last week, before diving into this week's fan segment, which includes a question about Star Wars planets, a Battle of the Basics update, and of course, the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. Cue the music. Hey now, everybody, we're just getting used to YouTube's new live streaming controls, which have changed since we did this little shit show about this time last week. How's it going? How's everyone doing? I'm still 40 years old. I'm still alive. All right. So if you joined us last week, we did the show on a Monday because the big boy here was turning 40 on our usual recording day of Tuesday. And I'm just going to talk about that a little bit because if you follow me, you follow the Haywood Pop or Haywood.Matt on IG, you might have seen some of the images. And as a 40-year-old, I had a full-on Star Wars birthday party. I had Star Wars decorations. I had a fantastic-looking BB-8 cake. I mean, the best-looking BB-8 cake I've ever seen. I had other Star Wars-themed gifts. I mean, you name it. It was basically a 5-year-old's Star Wars birthday party for a 40-year-old, but there's always time for Star Wars time, so here we go. It was fantastic, man. I'm not going to lie. So we talked about last week turning 40 in a pandemic. Wah! I know I'm not bitching about that, but it is odd. You can't really see family. I couldn't see any friends. And my birthday was on a fucking Tuesday. All right. So you got your 40th on a Tuesday in a pandemic. I wasn't really that excited for it. So, we tried some things at House Haywood here to make the week feel a little different, the day feel a little more special than it would in this shit show we call life right now. And it worked out great. I mean, we set up a tent, camped out for a week straight. I kind of cut out some of my mental constructs that I put in place, like Neo in the Matrix, to make sure I don't get fat. So I was, my diet opened up a little bit. I had a few beers every day. It just turned out to be a fantastic week. So fantastic, and it left me feeling so positive that my angry ass even got out and did 2 Star Wars toy photography shots. All right.
Oh my God. Two in the same week.
Twice. I did 2 shoots in 1 week. Again, welcome, Kristen. I know you're new here to the Star Wars Time Show. We love that you joined in. Hopefully you'll stick around for the full 2+ hours before we get to your incredible Star Wars art. But this is kind of how we start things off if you're new to the show. We do a little bullshit and go through our topics. Then we honor our fans with heaps of uneducated sounding praise. And just wait till we get to yours, since it's a... You used real ass paint. That's kind of how we describe actual art.
Describe art stuff here. We don't really know how to describe actual art other than toy photography and stuff like. So if it's not toy photography, we really just kind of spitball.
And we really don't even know how to explain that, but we fumble our best through it. So anyways, I got 2 shoots out. I think I'm going to have around 16 usable shots. Got the new vintage Fed out there. Dropped a shot last night. Shot some Nosferatu. It felt good, and I didn't have one freak out. So I think last week was good for me mentally to just kind of check out. But Monday came around this week and we're right back to the old lockdown rat race, trying to watch a 4-year-old while 2 parents are working. So I'm right back to being in the pits. But hey, it is Tuesday. Nick and I are here for a brand new episode of the Star Wars Time Show. And as you heard in our overly long intro that was fucked up because YouTube changed its live streaming controls, we got some stuff to talk about. So let's get right into that, my friend. You threw this one up here, but we kind of talked about this book at the Comic-Con at Home recap things we did.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we're getting this Star Wars The Lightsaber Collection book, and the official site actually dropped some pages for us to check out to see what we're getting here. And as expected, I think this is a book that may be up my alley. Yeah. So you can see in the little gallery below in the post on StarWarsTime.net that you get basically the pages of the book look like this. So you get a picture of Mace Windu's lightsaber, and then you also get an explanation of the character, and then even a little bit of behind the scenes stuff here. So in Mace's, it says before filming the climactic battle of Geonosis and Attack of the Clones, Mace Windu actor Samuel L. Jackson made a specific request of George Lucas. He said, "We had this big arena fight scene with all these Jedi, and I was like, I want to be able to find myself in this scene." So this is how Mace got his purple lightsaber. So explaining a little bit about the character, a little bit about the saber itself, and then also getting some behind the scenes stuff. In this case with Sam, how he got his purple it's more about
blade.
Sam's narcissism than anything.
Yeah. So what StarWars.com did this week was they dropped a few panels from the book itself. You can see them in the article here. You have Mace, you have Yoda, you have Anakin Skywalker, and the Anakin frame is actually really interesting because it's not really just talking about Anakin. It's talking about the Skywalker family blade. So it says here, the Skywalker lightsaber is essentially the UR lightsaber against which all other must be measured. So it's like the pinnacle, according to this. It's the pinnacle of lightsaber design.
I do like Asajj's kind of curvy deal. She took after her original master in Dooku. But you got, like, just in these panels we're looking at here, Nick, you got to say that the Skywalker family blade really probably is the best looking hilt.
Yeah.
In proper Star Wars, at least. I'm not talking like Galaxy's Edge and all the crazy stuff you can make there, but I was never a huge fan of Mace's. I do like the purple tone. I'm not going to lie. I mean, our man Revan uses it. It is kind of a boss level look. My Galaxy's Edge lightsaber is purple. I never liked the hilt. I don't like gold on a Jedi hilt. It looks tacky to me.
It's a little too flamboyant.
Exactly.
He's out there. He's like, look at me, bitch. I'm rich.
Right. But I think it might work better in the High Republic era where they are a little more refined looking. I do like Yoda's. It's very basic.
If you look at Yoda's next to Anakin's, you can see that Anakin took some.
Yeah, there's inspiration. Right around the emitter and the grip itself are very similar. But Yoda's is one of the most basic. I know Ahsoka's had very nice, sleek looking metal tubes as well. Yeah, but the Skywalker family blade. I mean, that's where it's at. That's that original. Was it Graflex?
Graflex camera.
Flash thing. Yeah.
Yep.
One of the guys that follows us, and I think Super Scoundrel's buddy SW Props, I mean, he collects like the eclectic shit, like the cameras that have the actual flash arm on it. And you can't, I mean, it really is pretty much the exact same thing outside of them gluing on the handle and adding a knob here or there. So that kind of stuff's always fun. Like what those people did back in the 70s with just random shit laying around the studio.
Dude, they just original like A New Hope Star Wars did not have a very large budget.
No, man, so it's like these days people, making shit at home on YouTube.
Yeah. They were like, oh, look, there's a fucking pipe here. Let's take this pipe and we can make it a sword, and like take this other pipe and turn this into a gun. And they were just putting shit together. I think they're like the weapons that they had for the stormtroopers were like cast-offs from old war movies. They're literally just glued shit onto.
Yep, they're old World War II props that they just would take other pieces of rubber, and I believe there's a term ILM coined for this type of. It's called like, is it grimmeling or griveling? It was I believe it's in the behind the scenes in The Rise of Skywalker, like that documentary. But it's an actual art form that I don't know if ILM did it or one of the earlier movie shops. But it's grimmeling or griveling, and that is literally the art of putting random shit on other shit to make different looking shit.
Yeah.
And as I said, we are intelligent. That's how we explain things here. As one of our fans joins up with a "What up, cunts."
Oh wow! There we go. Is that one of our Aussies?
Yeah, that's old Bossajan there. He missed last week because we caught him on the Monday surprise, so he's in here to start probably bitching about something, hats or this, that, and the other thing.
There we go. So, I mean, this book is pretty cool, like you mentioned, and it does kind of show you not only the history of lightsabers in the universe itself, but if you think about what Matt and I just talked about, like literally taking a camera flash arm and turning that into a blade. And now you have all of these different types of lightsabers that spawn from it, whether they be made in video games or animated series or live action or whatever. Like literally from the arm of a camera to to the most iconic weapon in cinema.
I mean, think about it, dude. In terms of movie props or shit fans collect, is there any other weapon out there that more fans have probably collected from a film franchise than lightsabers? I mean, just think about all the fan-made lightsabers, or the shit you've shared with me on Facebook, the Lightsaber Collector Society or whatever. Really, it's like people have. It's almost become an art itself to create a lightsaber to pay homage to your love of Star Wars. So I don't know, man. I think this book might be going on my list because it doesn't have a lot of words. It's looking like it's got some nice pictures, and the words are more than just bullshit. Like you said, they are giving you some actual real life backstory to these blades, how they came to be. It looks like, at least in the Anakin one, you're getting quotes from some of the actors that used them, the Mace Windu one. So this could be a fun coffee table light type of read. That's what I'm into. Big pictures, small words, stuff like that. So is this a fall release? What are we looking at here?
This is available for pre-order now, and it will be released on October 20th. So you can go on to the Amazon pre-order link is in the article at the bottom, so you can jump on there now.
$27 for a hardcover. That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. And if you look on the pictures now, they've added a couple more of these frames. So you have Ahsoka Tano's Rebels lightsaber. So
I love those blades. She went with like that gunmetal finish and very few designs on the hilts. I mean, they're very smooth looking. So. Yeah, and I always liked that she had the different size hilts to suit her style.
One of them is like one of them is a Shato blade, which is essentially the size of Yoda's lightsaber. Like Yoda's lightsaber is a Shato blade; it's just full size for him. And then she's got throwing out
samurai terms or something. You've been playing a lot of Ghost these days.
This is something that I just pick. I just know sword terms.
Yes, Nixon.
Yes.
So I think this one's going on my list. I'm not going to pre-order it right now so people don't see all my Amazon details, but I'm digging it. I'm glad we got this little preview. I think this is a neat little informative type of book and isn't going to require too much brain power, so I'm 100% behind it.
Yeah.
Talking about not needing much brain power, we are going to cover the TikTok story, of course. How could you not? I mean, we actually had multiple fans hit us up, so that's typically a sign. Like,
people want us to talk about this.
What's your reaction to this? So we oblige. I believe Kingdom of Weird was one of the first people to sling this to us. Maybe Bossajan. I never know what he's slinging down there in Australia land. But if you're a Star Wars fan, you have heard about this topic. This is the TikTok from Disney Fake Facts that went viral last week. And it's shit quality. It's just some guy using Keynote on his Mac, literally recording his Mac screen with his phone. Like, it's not even a screen recording, but I think that adds to the charm. But the point is he goes through and renames every Star Wars movie, not with his own made up titles. He's still using the existing titles. He just changes what numbers they go on,
moving them around.
And quite frankly, the way he lays it out, it's pretty legit. Like, I don't have many arguments against it. Okay.
Yeah, I actually, am aligned on a lot of these titles.
Yeah, a lot of it makes sense. I mean, the two that still to me are interchangeable are episode 2 and episode 3 because he flopped them, right? So if you're not aware of it, I'm not going to play it because we know what that can mean on the Star Wars Time Show. I mean, I could have smoke starting to shoot out of my ears and my screen will melt, my mic will disappear, and you won't hear me for about 10 minutes. But I did write down his movie titles just so we could look over them here on the live stream here. So like I said, he didn't make any titles up. He is just remixing the existing titles, and I'll kind of recount his reasonings behind it. So episode 1, The Rise of Skywalker, because you find Anakin Skywalker, right? And he's going to be trained to be a Jedi.
Yes, very obvious.
Episode 2, Revenge of the Sith, because Palpatine essentially kicks off his master plan.
Yeah, so like I kind of agree with you here that 2 and 3, I think, could either... I don't necessarily agree with his logic behind 2 because... in retrospect, yes, this one works really well. But I don't think that there was enough necessarily in 2 to say that was the true revenge of the Sith.
I mean, we're grasping at straws here, but technically that was his full-on pushing the green button. The plan is going now. Yeah. Yeah. So technically, yes, that is his revenge is starting. And then episode 3, the clones really do attack the good guys. All right. Yep. So using Attack of the Clones in 2, it's kind of weird. It's always been a weird title. We can just let that be. It's fucking dumb. Like, it's the dumbest title out of any of these. Yeah, just 2 all around is a shit show. I love it now, though, man. I think I'm going to start watching it at least once a month. I love Attack of the Clones.
Oh, my God.
Episode 4, Return of the Jedi, because, you know, Obi-Wan, Yoda, or Obi-Wan finds Luke, all that fun stuff. Yes. Episode 5, Luke is now being trained in the ways of the Force, so the Force awakens. Yes. Episode 6, Yoda dies. Right? Obi-Wan is already dead. Yoda dies in 6, and I guess if you want to, so does Anakin Skywalker. So now Luke truly is the last Jedi. Yeah. Episode 7, the Empire strikes back because the First Order is back. The Empire has risen. Episode 8, A New Hope, which is what Rey. Luke gives to the rebellion at the end, and Rey. And then episode 9, a rather perfect one, The Phantom Menace, who is Palpatine screaming to us all through Fortnite. Yeah, that's very true. So, I mean, again... what do you think about switching 5 and 1? Force Awakens, The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, that works too. Yeah, I think episode 1, The Force Awakens. But the problem with that Force is... has always been there. Yeah, so I guess we can't do that one. You lose there, Nick. After I started working through it in my pea brain, I was like, nah, that can't work. But in the end, I mean, it was a fun video. It was definitely something worth checking out if you haven't seen it yet. And sure, you can debate it. It doesn't matter. It's just fucking stupid internet shit, right? It's social media nonsense, but that seems to be everyone's favorite form of entertainment these days. So we did want to talk on or touch on the subject, but I like the guys' re-envisioning of the titles, and I also don't mind how they are in real life. So a fun little exercise, and by all means, fans, fandos, a-holes, whatever you want to call yourselves these days. If there are things that pop up that you want us to look into, please send them. I know some of you do send stuff, but when you send stuff that's upwards of 2 years old, we're not going to talk about it. So check the damn dates on the post you're sending sometimes, my friends, because it's like, where did you dig this up? I mean, we talked about this on probably episode 2. So. Sometimes they get those little sponsored or you should check this out on Facebook or Twitter, and they're like, oh my God, it's new. And it's the Aussie boys do it a lot. So I feel like just because they're on the opposite side of the world, that maybe they are a few years behind in Star Wars news. In news world. Yeah, that's why you have to keep up with the Star Wars Time Show. So when the new news drops, we give it to you. Yeah, and you don't have to worry about it. By the way, there's always time for Star Wars Time. Just get used to it. All right, man. So enough of the TikToking stuff, and we'll get into some real life, some actual stuff, some actual art being created by the Lucasfilm team. Thanks to Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Taika, Deborah, all the rest that worked on the first season of The Mandalorian. But Emmy nods came out last week. Yep. And The Mandalorian cleaned house in terms of nominations. They haven't won anything yet, but The Mandalorian got 15 nominations.
I mean, dude, it's
that's
nuts
like that's like Game of Thrones level recognition.
Exactly. Like when you consider that this is, I mean, now if you think about Emmy nominations and what usually gets the nods, it's always either HBO series or, you know, like Netflix direct to streaming
it's the
services.
long form binging shit or the episodic once a week type of deal. I mean, let's remember what Mandalorian was. It's essentially a cartoon length live action series.
Yeah.
That in total maybe runs for what, 4 hours, a little over 4 hours. And it nabbed 15 Emmys, like legit ones for cast, crew, production. I mean, pretty much every damn aspect of making art like this, they got recognized for. So we'll kind of go through some of the noms here.
And just to call it out too, because Mandalorian gets 15, and then also a little known and little loved series also grabbed one. And that's Star
I'm
Wars
sorry.
Resistance.
I'm glad you brought that up because we have a lot of anti-resistance people in the SWTS fan base, and I get it because most of them are old, angry guys. But if you have kids and shit, Star Wars Resistance is a really good Star Wars kids cartoon. Like,
it really is.
And Nick and I, we kind of talked about it before because we got called out on YouTube. They're like, "Hey, fuckheads, it's a kid show." Like,
we treated it very harshly.
Yeah, we were looking for like legit lore, some good stuff.
Yeah, we treated it as you would treat Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that. We were like, oh man, this is it's new Star Wars content. It's happening in the area between episodes 7 and 8. So we were like, all right, let's see this shit. Let's get into it. It was good for what it was.
I enjoyed it for what it was. Is great. I did like the art. I like the characters. I'm a big fan of Kaz. I like Nico. All those guys. Mm-hmm. We got some cool looking First Order people in Pyre. And what was that other guy? Von Reg.
Yep.
So yeah, hey, Emmy nod for Resistance for what do you get for child or kid programming, something like
children's
that.
Program.
There you go. So check it out if you're a kid, I guess. But I still recommend it. If you are a true Star Wars lore freak, you have to watch it.
It's only 2 seasons too.
Yeah,
it's not like bad. You're in quarantine right now. More than likely, you're sitting at home. You don't have anything to do. Just toss it on. It's on Disney Plus, and you have Disney Plus. So
those of you in the peanut gallery, I highly recommend getting through your Clone Wars and Rebels before Resistance. It's not that type of you got to watch it, but once you tap out your Star Wars cartoon faucet, throw it on. It isn't bad. It isn't bad. I know those of you that already watch it and you fucking hate it, that's fine. You can hate it. It's dumb. It's for kids. It's fine. Just let it go. But those that want to experience, at least try it, right? It's free if you have Disney Plus, or I think it's even up on Star Wars Kids YouTube, this, that, and the other thing. But getting back to the live action universe, the good Star Wars are the one that have made Star Wars fans at least feel like not killing each other now. Mandalorian, big one here. Outstanding drama series. All right, that's
like the best thing.
That's best picture. For. So, yeah, give it to Mando. I mean, I don't know what other shows are up against this, but give it to Mando.
Yep.
Outstanding children's program, that was for Resistance. Voiceover Taika's getting for Chapter 8, which is fantastic because that is when IG has his big moments.
Yep.
Guest actor Giancarlo, look at that. He was literally in half an episode. Half an episode. Well, I guess one full, right? Because he shows up at the very end of 7, right? And then it rolls right into 8.
Yeah.
But we've talked about that guy, and that guy is a master at his craft. I have never seen a role he has played where you're not like, where you go like, oh, this guy's a hack.
I mean, he just has a presence about him, and he when he's on screen, one of those actors where if he's on screen, you're paying attention.
Exactly.
And he grabs your attention.
Exactly. He's got that gravitas, if you will. I mean, he's someone that commands your attention. And clearly he did so in The Mandalorian. And we've got more on Giancarlo's Moff Gideon later on the show. So stick around. Tease. Big time tease right there. Production design, yes. If they don't win this, that's a sham.
Oh yeah, that like there's no fucking way they lose that.
Cinematography for a single camera series. All right, you guys know most TV shows are shot with like fucking 8,000 cameras to get different angles. Single camera, and you know how beautiful this show was. So they should win production and cinematography. And you know what? They should win fantasy sci-fi costumes too.
Yep.
How many of you have bought 5,000 Mandalorian figures, or have made your own Mandalorian figures, or have made your own Mandalorian armor? Come on. It's one of the most iconic looking armor sets in Star Wars.
Star Trek is in this category too. Again, like I don't have all the Emmy nods up, but like the only thing that I can see...
Picard would probably be in there.
Yeah, like that's the only thing that I could see really giving Mando a run for its money.
Is this
like
2019, Nick? Are these like 2019 Emmys, or is this... It has to be, right?
Yeah, this is 2019.
So I think Discovery Season 2 did drop in 2019, so I guess that could be in there as well as Picard, and then I'm guessing some of the CW and sci-fi shows, right? Like The 100 and shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, either way...
It's like, there's a lot. There's a lot of good stuff that came out in 2019. So.
I mean, look at the little Ugnaught guy. I mean, that was a little person in a... authentic live action looking animatronic head. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They win that one. Single camera picture editing, win. Prosthetic makeup, win. Music composition, fucking win.
Yep.
Sound editing, win. Mixing, win. Special effects, all right, maybe not.
Maybe not that one, which is weird when you're talking about a Star Wars series and you're like, maybe the special effects don't win.
Yeah, but even then they could win. But I just gave them like 18 wins, so I can't give them.
And this one should stand at. This last one should be a real sticking point for your boy.
Yeah, see, I don't know if he was actually going to be a coordinator, or fight coordinator, or just wear the suit, or just be a stunt guy. But yeah, this one has to burn. It probably burns me more than him at this point that this dude missed out on filming The Mandalorian, especially just the legend that The Mandalorian has already become. Oh yeah. I actually need to ask Stunt Buddy about Ryan Watson to kind of get the lowdown on him, because Stunt Buddy, those of you, if you've ever seen him on the Corridor Digital Stuntmen Reacts, I think you'll start to understand how I've tried to explain his personality. He's very direct, he's very honest, and he's usually brutally honest. He just put an episode out, so if you want to check it out. But he just right off the bat just starts laying in some people on Birds of Prey. So that's how he is. He knows what he knows, and he believes he knows what he knows is the only thing to know. If that makes any sense.
If you're constantly or very regularly employed by Marvel and Disney and reached out to for a Star Wars project, it goes to show that you are a pretty well respected.
Oh yeah, he's got his connections. He's got a very nice portfolio. So just sometimes he's a little rough around the edges when it comes to dealing with people.
Yeah, I mean, how many people can say that they played Thanos on, in Infinity
he's
War?
Korg, man. He's everything. Like, just go look at his IG. Here's the thing. The guy has a huge IG following because of the Corridor series, and he still sucks at IG social media. Like, I mean, now I get he's not on any sets, but he would never post anything. Like, nothing interesting that people would want to see from a stuntman that works on big projects like Punisher, Endgame, so on and so forth. So it is what it is. And he got a lot of like gay following too, because I mean, he is a handsome 40-year-old gentleman, or 41 at this point in time. So apparently he told me he has a very huge gay following because they love him. So
there you go, dude. There you go.
We embrace all communities here at the Star Wars Time Show. If you want to love us, we have at it.
No hate for anybody.
Did you see Greg's Matt homage pic he put out?
I did see that.
I love it, man. I was flattered. You made me look like I was a WWE wrestler that eats HGH and testosterone for breakfast.
That's what I was going to say. The musculature was a little bit extra.
I love it,
but
man.
it was a good portrayal.
I love it. Thank you, Greg, even though you're not on, so we hate you. Hey, we're getting some of the regulars joining in. We got Devin. We got Spencer's up in here. Alfie, how's it going for those on the live stream? If you're not on the live stream, you're listening on the radio, you can get on the live stream. Tuesdays, typically 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars Time Show YouTube. Hit it up.
Yep.
All right. So anyways, I really do. I mean, I was kind of being a smart ass here, but I would not be surprised if Mando, I don't think it's going to be a clean sweep. But I think it could very easily take 12 out of the 15, if not more. So
I think so too. I mean, I don't know what it's up against, and we could go online and do that research right now. But this is a Star Wars.
Who would do that? I mean, honestly,
like that.
Who would do that? Only people that actually plan and care about making their show entertaining and informative, which clearly is not us.
But knowing what is on television and knowing what the Mandalorian is and how well it was made, I will say that it should get, 12 to 14 wins.
My bad. Twinkle Tits is in here. Sorry, Greggy buddy. We love you.
Greg's here as well.
I'm still waiting to see the Nick figure. That's the one I'm interested to see.
Yeah, Greg said that mine, but he's probably got me with like a shit loaf on top of my head, and he hates me because he doesn't get his top fives like he wants to.
Oh, I love it. I got to pull it up real quick just in case people haven't seen Greggy Boy's Matt Haywood figure or Haywood Pop figure yet. It's a gem, and I do love. I mean, Greg without doubt was our first super fan. I mean, the guy from day one has been making tributes to us. He has dioramas for the show. He is the man. But there it is, right? There it is right there. I mean, I look like a fucking wrestler, which I'm sure it is a wrestling figure, but it looks like I just got done snorting a line of coke, shooting some roids in my ass, and I'm recording the show.
Yeah.
I'm like,
ready to go.
So thank you, Greg. I do appreciate it. I am flattered. All right. Hey, guess what, Nick?
Yes.
Star Wars comics are back.
They're back.
Star Wars comics are back. I think this week we're getting the proper just Star Wars run is continuing. I don't know about the Bounty Hunter other ones, but Darth Vader returned last week, which means I wasted my time to make a video for less than 30 people to check out, but I still had fun doing it because it's our boy, Darth Vader. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
So Darth Vader number 3, 2020 came out. I did my thing. What is my thing? Well, I try to go through and at least highlight it to me when I'm reading. I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. That's it. And then I'll regurgitate it to all of you. I'm like a mama bird. I chew it up and then I vomit it into your mouth through our YouTube channel that no one subscribes to. I look for interesting new canon added to the Star Wars franchise because these are canon base. I also look for any type of Easter egg type of thing in the issue. So if you're into this type of stuff, if you haven't read number 3, you might want to tune out for the next 10 minutes because I am going to talk about some of the key moments. It's going to be a slight recap, but more or less just kind of highlighting some of the neater things I saw in here. Not that I'll remember because I don't really write them down and it's on the video, so I may have to play the video, but that could then blow up the stream, so who the fuck knows? But either way, I guess I got my script. So Darth Vader number 3 picks up right after number 2. Him and Sabe are en route to, and this is where we get kind of the first interesting canon bits, Naboo. And Nick, they literally land in the wonky ass, fat ass space cow field where Anakin and Padme kind of romped around, rolled around, and had their first little flirting session.
Yep.
They even show the little space Naboo cow pig things. And you can tell Vader, and each time we see one of these areas that Vader is currently in, on the next panel, we get the flashback.
The memory.
Yep, red tinted because it's Vader remembering it and not Anakin. So he remembers teasing, I was too afraid to tease a senator. They go to the Nabiri summer home. All right.
Okay.
No discussion about sand. They go to the dining hall where he feeds her like a creep with the Force and uses the word wish way too many times than the word wish should be used in one sentence. you see, I'm calling this an Easter egg, but they have to go underwater, and they get in the same bongo that I swear Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan used in The Phantom Menace. Shit. So it's almost like Padme took it to her parents' summer home and kept it down the basement to cruise. Nice.
Nice.
We also learned through this issue that after the end of The Phantom Menace, you know, the big parade thing, and, you know, Boss Nass and the Queen, they made their pact. That was such a big moment on Naboo that the Gungans and Nabooians actually created a mural and an underwater building to commemorate that moment.
That's awesome. Okay.
But what's interesting about all this is that, you know, we know he's with Sabe.
Yep.
We also find out now that Sabe is still working with Typho. Typho, another character from the movies. He's her bodyguard. He's Padme's security in episode 2 and 3.
Yes.
We learned through them that they hold Anakin Skywalker in the same light as Padme. He's almost become like a god to, they call themselves Amidalans. It's almost like they've become a cult.
Yeah,
over Queen Amidala and Padme. And the reason for that is because of Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi, saving Padme from the assassination attempts in Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
And they know that Anakin was the last person to be with her on Mustafar, and they thought, you know, he was going there to help her, save her, and all that stuff.
Positive light.
Right. So that was interesting that they... Anakin became a hero, a folk hero on Naboo, just as big as Padme. They're almost revered. Like I can't really think of characters in real life, but Jesus. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go that far. I guess Anakin was the chosen one, but this faction that Sabe is in, they're hell bent on getting revenge against those who killed Anakin and Padme. All
wow.
Right? So that was interesting.
So who is did they say in the series or in this book, like, who are they like focusing on? Like, who is the focus of their ire? Like, who are they trying to get back at?
Where this ends is interesting. We get Cola Clawfish shows up and chews on the bongo, a direct mention to a scene from The Phantom Menace. At the end, you see there's always a bigger fish. That big fucking thing shows up. But what happens, Nick? So we know Sabe was working with Vader because she needed him to get revenge against whoever killed Padme.
Yes.
But what we didn't know is that Sabe and these Amidalans knew all along that Vader was responsible.
Oh,
so they actually, this whole issue ends with them having trapped Vader with some sort of device that's calling this massive fucking fish to come down and eat him, essentially.
Wow.
So this is how they figured it out. They deduced that they've learned that Mustafar became Vader's homeworld.
Yep.
They knew the last place Padme went was Mustafar. They knew the last place Anakin was at was Mustafar.
Yep.
So they kind of put 1 + 1 = 5 and said, Padme on Mustafar, Anakin on Mustafar, you live on Mustafar, you fucking killed him. And he goes, you're right. And then boom, shit happens, end of issue, wait for number 4.
There we go. I mean, I definitely want to get, I have to pick it up and read it, but this was a very interesting series leading up to it. And like the fact that Sabe was clever enough to know, like to lead him into a trap like this, and 2, to actually pull off some sort of trap on Vader without being found out.
Yeah, you would think that Vader still has the ability to sense thoughts, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But no, somehow they hid it all the way till the end until, there's this, they kept teasing with, we got this holo recorder, it's going to show you what happened at Padme's apartment. They finally get it and watch it, and it's them sitting around making their pact to exact revenge on whoever killed Padme. And then that's when they're like, we know it was you. And he goes, you're right. And then it just ends because one of the other Naboo people uses this whistle to call the big ass fucking fish. I guess they're assuming they're just going to kamikaze themselves, commit suicide,
just go down with them
to take out Vader. So other interesting points. When they're in the bongo and it gets attacked, the Kolo Clawfish actually rips it apart, so they all get ejected.
Oh shit!
What do you think Vader does? He just fucking kicks the shit out of the cola claw fish. I mean,
he just beats the shit out of the fish. It just
like slices it in half and then force fucks it. It's over. I mean, it's just like you always get a boss level Vader action scene in a Vader comic. So once again, number 3 adds great lore, great canon content, if you will, to Vader, his backstory, his future stories, his present stories. All this is taking place after Empire, when he learned that Luke was his kid, and he's pissed that Luke is a puss. So he's going out throughout the universe, hunting down those he thinks made his son a wuss.
Awesome
it's very interesting. So it's out there now. It's on digital. I'm assuming it's probably only a digital. I don't know if they're doing paper releases to comic book stores yet. I know Sean's in the peanut gallery. Sean, if you know actual physical comics are being sold again, let us know and we'll make that announcement. But I know you can at least get these on digital right now. And like I said, I believe Star Wars proper returns tomorrow. Or if you're listening to the audio version, it should be out right now.
Yep.
So good stuff. But please, if you're in this, if you like Vader, if you like just kind of comic recaps or Star Wars canon, interesting Star Wars stuff, give us some views on YouTube. It is rather depressing to get 30 on these. I mean, I know maybe the content doesn't sound that exciting. Maybe I need to make the title more clickbaity. But it's just this is about what these series do, about 30, 50 at the most. So
these aren't long videos either. There's only like a 4 or 5 minute long video. This one's 3 minutes and 42 seconds in total. So it's not like you have to sit through a full Star Wars time show, which can be 2+ hours.
I will promise you, I will never waste your fucking time in a Star Wars video. I may not get all the Easter eggs when I recap a Mando, or I may fuck up a top moment, but I'm not going to sit there for 20 minutes and be like, did you see the 50 eggs in Mando season 1, episode 1? We're like, look, that piece of dirt was from Tatooine. Look, that paint was used in The Empire Strikes Back. Look, that wire might have been used in Return of the Jedi. I mean, it's insane. I just go for the right in your face or the, like the real fan type of chubbing up type of stuff.
Yes.
Because I don't have an attention span either. I mean, one of the main reasons I haven't watched my buddy's most recent Stuntman Reacts because it's 19 minutes long. I'm just like, no, I don't want to do it.
Bro, cut it down. Cut it in half.
Yeah.
8 minutes.
Quit bitching. According to my buddy Sean, who is a comic book artist, the physicals are out there. So if you can, do it safely, hit up a shop, support them, because I'm sure they have gotten their shit kicked in during all this, at least here in the States, because most of the world is moving beyond the virus. We're just getting deeper and deeper into it.
Yeah, we're digging the hole. So Vader 3 out now. Marvel Comics app on your phone or other devices. Comixology
or as
is out there
Tone
as well.
says, I guess if you want to pirate, read comics online. Do a search on that. So
wow, if you don't want to support them, you don't want to pay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm never going to crack down on people that bootleg stuff. It's just something I don't personally do. As someone that does create things for free, it's just something I don't get into. But I'm not getting on
there are people out there right now who don't have money because of this.
Right. I'm not getting on my big mighty throne here and preaching down. I mean, I back in the days when Kazaa and that type of stuff was around when I was poor, I was definitely getting into that peer-to-peer. But these days, if I can afford the $5, whatever, I'm gonna pay it. It's just, and don't get me wrong. And there are people in Hollywood that rob their own industry by pirating movies, and it just blows my mind. It's like, do you guys understand why budgets are getting cut or this, that, and the other thing when you own assholes are stealing your fucking work?
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Like, just questionable. But yes, go read this if you can, any way you can. Just catch up on the canon because there's a lot of great stuff out there.
Hey, again, commenting to the live stream. I know sometimes on the audio only it might get weird, but Tones, we're just messing with you, buddy. He buys all the printed stuff. He just wants to make sure that he is supporting the artist, and that's all that matters. So
there we go.
I'm all about that. If you buy the print and you want to try to get a free digital, go for it. You should get the fucking digital with the print anyways. What really is the extra cost? Yeah. Okay, so we teased this earlier when we were talking about all the Emmy nominations for The Mandalorian. Yes, Spencer, he did do a good Punisher short, but it did not pop like he thought it would, so he feels bad about himself. Just watch the damn Corridor Digital thing, and we'll move on from that. Check them out. They're a huge YouTube channel. My buddy Eric Linden, stunt guy, he does the Stuntman Reacts and is really good at it. I don't know if he's going to have a lot of work after he does all these because he shits all over Hollywood.
He's just like shitting on his own industry.
Oh, it's fun. I love his honesty is refreshing though. So have at it. Just don't ask him for feedback on your toy photography. Okay, so Giancarlo, he is a treasure when it comes to the acting profession. We know him as Gus. He was in a few other shows. He's in a bunch of movies. But most recently, at least for us in Star Wars land, he has become Moff Gideon, the supposed or seeming leader of the Remnant Empire, at least what we've been told or shown through one season of the show. But he was on, who was it? He was on with Deadline, right, Nick? Doing an interview, and he kind of got into more talk with the big weapon, the big reveal at the end of season 1, which was the fact that he is in possession of the almighty and badass looking Darksaber. And he kind of got into how Gideon is connected to this saber, right? Yeah,
it was really interesting, the quotes that he put out there about not only the weapon itself, but his ties to the weapon. So the first choice quote that came out of this Deadline article was this. He says, "The saber is a key to Moff Gideon's past, which possibly has a lot to do with where he comes from and his desire to build a planet and bring it back together."
All right. Okay. Stop the clock. We've mentioned this before. I don't know how many episodes back it was, but it was with another Giancarlo interview. He's like, hey, this guy isn't just a power-hungry bureaucrat. Yes. He can, walk the walk, talk the talk. And we were speculating, does that mean he has force dip? Or was he a fucking Mandalorian? Was he one of these turncoats that when the Empire took over, he joined the super commandos and rose the ranks up through there? And as, at least the way Nick read it to me, his desire to build a planet and bring it back together. What do we know at this point in time in The Mandalorian? Mandalore has been gutted, destroyed. All of the residents, the true Mandalorians, are scattered across the galaxy.
Yeah, and all you have left of Mandalorian society is like what we saw in the show, where you have these underground collections.
It's just the Creed. That's all they have.
Yeah.
Right? There is no Mandalore anymore. There is no you're a Mandalorian if you buy into the Creed, basically. That is what they're reduced to. So, when we're talking about the Darksaber, and we know its ties to Mandalore and the Mandalorians, Tarvizsla, the first Mandalorian Jedi, forged it. Pre took it. Maul took it from him.
Ahsoka got it.
Right, and something like that. And then Sabine ends up with it. And then she gives it to Bo-Katan, and then all we know, somehow Gideon gets it after that.
Yeah.
So it just, in that comment, build a planet and bring it back together. It just sounds like the guy has a hard-on for Mandalore, Mandalorian culture, Mandalorian artifacts. Is he a Mandalorian?
Yeah, I mean, by the way that this is put, by the way that Giancarlo said this, it does. It almost seems like he is a former Mandalorian, and he has the saber, and he looks at it the same way that Bo-Katan looked at it, that Sabine looked at it, everybody else, that this is the sign of the true leader of Mandalore. And if he holds this, then all of the Mandalorians should follow him. And if it really is his desire to rebuild the planet, then he may be trying to recruit Mandalorians or, and then bring them under this Imperial
remnant. If we really want
flag.
to fold in some of the other hanging plot threads, the whole Baby Yoda stuff, the potential of transferring force powers, maybe he's looking to create a force-infused race of Mandos. That probably would be the ultimate warrior. You have all of the Mandalorian skills with space magic.
Yeah, I mean, if you gave a really skilled Mandalorian Bo-Katan the Force, I mean,
come on, I mean, just imagine Din with the fucking Force. Look what the guy did without the Force.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do against that? If you go back to the times of Revan and Malak, and you talk about the Mandalorian Wars, do the Mandos lose that war if they have the Force? I don't think so. Right. I don't think they lose that.
Right. No, I'm with you 100%. I mean, there isn't a lot about Tar Vizsla and his potential and what he was able to do outside of he was just the first Mando Jedi and he forged the Darksaber. But his second quote, Nick, maybe we will get more of that exposition now because he's pretty much, he was asked like, hey, are they going to be hiding the Darksaber? So it's like, ha again. And Giancarlo's like, no. You'll see more of the Darksaber. You'll get the explanation of this ancient weapon to the modern world. So that to me is, hey, we're going to get a flashback, hopefully. Yep. A collapsed world. Where did this saber come from and how was it revived? It's a key in our second season, which we back sooner than later. That's right. We're only, 8 weeks at this point?
Yeah, you're talking about October, so we're 2 months out.
Finally, something to look forward to. I mean, literally in terms of just visual entertainment, we talked about movies have been wiped off the fucking map. There are no movies anymore. The movie industry's dead. This is really the only thing that we can kind of get up for at this point.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's either, previously filmed TV series or animation. That's all you're going to be getting for a little while.
Right, so what Tones is saying here, he's saying, what if the Empire really oppressed Mandalore as they knew? I think that's exactly what they did. And they kind of touch on some of that in Rebels. I mean, they used that weapon Sabine was working on to essentially wipe out Mandalorians. Just melt fucking Mandalorians.
Yeah, I mean, targeted their armor, and it was an electrical beam. It targeted their armor, and it just ashes them inside of it.
Yeah. So I think that's 100%. I mean, I think the Empire made a point to fucking get in that planet and crush them.
Yeah, because they knew the power of a coalesced group of Mandalorians. If the Mandalorians chose to go against the Empire and join the rebellion, or even just do it on their own, that they were going to bring the fight in a way that the Empire would have to split their forces if they're not working with the rebellion and just make them weaker. Like the Empire could not survive.
Kind of Alfie's falling up here going like, well, how weak were they after the Clone Wars? Well, I think that's the point. I think that's how the Empire was able to get in and take hold of Mandalore itself. Thanks to Maul's shenanigans on the planet and just the devastation of the Clone Wars in general. I know the Clone Wars didn't touch their planet until the very end, but it was still the Siege of Mandalore was a costly battle. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the Night Owls, a lot of the loyalist Mandalores lost their lives. They were already scattered before that. I mean, they were already infighting even before during the Clone Wars. I mean, you had Bo-Katan, who was kind of hanging with Pre and Death Watch that was against her sister. So Mandalore has been kind of politically fucked for a while, but I do agree, Alfie. I think the Clone Wars, as was the plan for the galaxy in general, was just to weaken every fucking planet and system. So the Empire could come in and just be like, hey, we're here to help. We'll provide security. We're the law and order president, right? Like some of the shit we're dealing with right now. So that I think that's 100% spot on. So I would not be surprised if Gideon was one of these suck asses like Saxon, that kind of saw the writing on the wall, and when he knew that, hey, we're losing, I'm just going to join the bad guys. It could be even deeper than that. Who knows? Maybe he's a double agent and this is all bullshit. But I doubt it. I do think Moff is the big bad. I think he's going to play the big bad for a minute here. I don't see them rotating like big bads every season. I think just like our Skywalker saga where we had our overarching big bads, I'm hoping at least Gideon stays in that role. Yeah, just for Giancarlo, to be honest with you. I mean, that's my main motivation there.
I mean, like the way that I look at Giancarlo here in the position, he's like the end boss in a video game. Like you always have like the end boss has revealed himself at the end of season 1. But you don't go straight from seeing the end boss to fighting the end boss. Right. There's a lot of little shit you got to get through before you get to Gideon. So I hope that you're right. I hope that we get through.
Maybe again, episode 8 that culminates the Gideon thread, but then we get like we do in episodic TV series. We'll get the cliffhanger of oh shit. There's the real puppet master. I mean, there's that potential too. I mean, there could be someone behind even Gideon. Well, we know Palpatine's out there kicking around in the galaxy, right? So
he's alive somewhere out there.
You never know what type of vibes he's putting out.
Like the seeds of the First Order could be planted even right now. I mean, We don't know who's out there in terms of the Imperial superstructure outside of. I mean, we know that Thrawn is still around somewhere out with Ezra in the unknown regions. We know that Gideon's here, and we know that there is still some sort of Imperial.
What if we find out that Thrawn's the one pulling the strings? Him and Ezra have teamed up, and now they're just fucking badasses coming back from the unexplored. They're all tough. Like I said, I want Thrawn to have his long hair, his shirt ripped, and his blue muscles hanging out. I want Ezra with a dirty beard. Kind of like a samurai ponytail like Kanan.
I'm down for it, man. I mean, I'm ready to see Thrawn and Ezra just jump back in, space whales and everything, just fucking dropping bombs on people.
Space whales, hyperspace whales. I don't know, man. I think Giancarlo, honestly, has been doing some masterful press for the character and season 2. I mean, he gives you just enough without giving you anything to make people like you and me, and of course the fandos, get in here and start speculating. And that is our favorite thing to do. I mean, the reason Nick and I do this is just to bullshit about potential Star Wars stories. That's it. We cover the other nonsense, but the fun of it, the chub popping, the smuggling pee aspect of this hobby is speculating on what could be based on the little bits of information we get from those in the know. But I am starting to lean towards Moff has ties to Mandalore. He clearly understands the culture. He clearly understands the power of the Darksaber. And as some are saying in the peanut gallery here, maybe he is currently using the Darksaber to oppress other Mandalorians. You never know. I mean, if they still believe in the creed, that thing is their life. That whoever has that is the ruler. I'm sure they've gotten over that after all the bullshit that happened to him in the Clone Wars and the rebellion and all that. But who knows? So good stuff from Giancarlo. Hopefully someone else gets him on a mic, because he always drops nice little nuggets for us. Yeah,
little lore pieces here and there, little hints. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. October release month for Mando. There's no date yet set, but look out for October release on Disney Plus for Mandalorian Season 2. If you don't have Disney Plus, get on it. Well worth it. Well worth your time. Speaking of Disney Plus, our famous transition there. Speaking of Disney Plus, there's a new casting call out here for Kenobi.
What do you think? Do you think they're going to stick to the usual length in Mando S2?
I hope they go
no longer than 40 minutes typically.
I hope they go 40 minutes or longer each episode. I don't know if the episode length was due to this being kind of
trial,
the experimental,
right?
Yeah, that's first season.
It's kind of what I was hoping for myself, but just based on everything they've released so far on Disney Plus, I mean, even that behind the scenes series, they still kept those 30 or less.
30 minutes, yeah. And there's really outside of The Mandalorian, there's no brand new live action shows that are going more than 30 minutes. So, I mean, maybe that's what they're comfortable with. And maybe that's what, Favreau and Filoni have agreed, hey, we can tell you incredible stories in 30 minutes or less in these episodes.
And they have proved it. We're just all selfish, greedy assholes. I mean, I'm including myself.
Minutes. I want an hour. Yeah. I want 10 1-hour long episodes.
I mean, that's what we all thought this was going to be, because we've been conditioned by HBO, by Netflix, that when you get a streaming series, first off, you're going to get every fucking episode at once. Second off, they're at least an hour long. But they kind of changed that formula, and it worked. I mean, some of the bite-sized episodes made perfect sense. It's like you didn't really need to expand those stories, but there were others you could argue that you definitely could have weaved a little more lore in. So who knows? At this point, though, I trust the team behind it. So it's nothing I'm going to worry about. I mean, I'm going to be selfish and want more, but I'm not going to worry if episode 1 clocks in at 25 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I've got full faith in Filoni and Favreau from here on out. I will no longer question their decisions in terms of episode length or storytelling. I mean,
selfishly, as a dumbass content creator that no one watches, I like the shorter episodes because it just means less sit time. Because once these come up again, I'm going to have to get back to that Friday routine where I'm up at the butt crack. I watch it once, take my notes, watch it again, take my screens, do the Easter egg, do the recap and review, and then watch it just to enjoy. So that's my Mandalorian watching life. Yeah.
So that'll extend our episode length by at least 30 minutes.
I was just thinking about that today. I'm like, fuck, man.
We're going to have to trim some stuff.
We're going to be getting easily 3 hour. I mean, there'll be 3 hour standards once Mando's back, because we'll be doing the full on egg and recap reviews on top of whatever else dumb shit we're talking about. So
yeah, we need to find some areas.
Get ready. Wear your diapers, my friends, because I was thinking the same thing today when I was looking at some of the Mando and the Emmys. I'm like, I am excited for it to come back. I don't feel like doing the content creation, even though I'll do it because I'm addicted to it. I'm an asshole. But the casts are going to be so long because, remember, Mando season 1, this was back when Nick and I did 2 shows a week. We would do
we were doing an episode separate for The Mandalorian. Yeah. And then we decided, we were like, fuck it, we can't do 2 episodes anymore. And we started smashing them in.
Yeah. And then those, without any breakdowns, started to turn into 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So just be prepared. We're going to be doing Stern Show length shows coming up, 350, 4 hours.
Yeah.
So sponsors, bring it. We still have no following, but if you want to throw some money at us, feel free to do so.
Yeah.
All right. Like Nick said, we got another one here. And in this one, I'm going to go ahead and slap the rumor tag on it because it comes from the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Good domain name. I like it, but not something I'm going to trust quite yet.
Yeah.
Just like how no one trusts Star Wars Time Show. I get it.
So this is we'll put it out there. They put it out as an exclusive, and of course they don't have anything linked to it, but apparently there are 2 castings out there for Kenobi series on Disney Plus that essentially give away who is going to be in the show. And the castings are for, and this is how it's worded: girl, Caucasian, 8 to 11 years old, to portray a precocious girl. Boy, Caucasian, 8 years old, to portray a precocious boy. So 8 to 11-year-old boy and girl, both white.
I pulled up precocious, by the way, for those watching on the screen, just in case you needed a refresher. Because I'm not going to lie, I did. I thought it was a spelling. I thought they meant to say precious.
No, precocious.
But it is the proper term to use for the 2 kids that we're talking about.
Early childhood development.
Yeah, so precocious is essentially having developed certain abilities or proclivities at an earlier age than usual, which is a great way to describe these 2 potential characters who, are the space twins, right?
Yes, the Skywalker twins here. We're talking Luke and Leia here, people, if you haven't figured that out yet. But
you know what, dude? The Luke doesn't surprise me at all. It makes sense. The Leia thing, I like. I like it if it's real. I dig it, because that means that they may be, or at least Obi is in communication with Bail, something like that. I mean, there's no reason to include Leia as a little girl unless Obi is going to interact with Bail or have a vision about Leia's own force powers, something like that. I think if this is real, incorporating a young Leia is brilliant.
I mean, and that's exactly kind of, what I put in the post on StarWarsTime.net, is that it kind of opens up 2 possibilities. It opens up the possibility that you're talking about, that Obi is in communication with Bail, because in Bail's mind, he's like, I now have this kid, this adopted daughter, who is the daughter of one of the most powerful Force users in the galaxy. I have no idea what I'm doing raising. I've never raised a Force-sensitive child.
Well, yeah, you never know. I mean, I know Leia didn't quite know she had it until Luke reached out to her in Empire, but you would have to think as a kid, or even, Luke's ability to fix stuff or fly in her early age, just like Anakin, you would have to think that, Leia was maybe there in Senate class just fucking wowing people or doing crazy shit, like high intelligence stuff at a young age that people are just like, what's going on here?
Yeah, like even very young, like I remember hearing in either, books or other canon stuff out there that, these Force abilities can start, manifesting themselves in children as young as 2-3 years old, where they can't even remember what they're doing. So like Bail and his wife are just sitting there, and all of a sudden fucking their TV starts floating off the wall.
There you go.
It's, because
the Organas love watching TV at dinner.
Yeah.
Bail always had that hollow thing up there. He's checking shit out while he's eating his Gundark wings.
So, in that case, what do you do as Bail Organa? Like, you have this child who's displaying force sensitivity. The only person you know is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep. I think
a phone call.
I think we've hit on something. So tomorrow I want you to write a post title that guarantees it. Just kind of put it out there. Let's start doing our fortune teller shit. We can, Princess Bail Organa, Princess Leia will contact Kenobi in Kenobi.
Yeah,
done.
There we go.
Fact. Punch
Confirmed.
it. Send it to press. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that could possibly bring Leia into this is, like you said, if he is somehow, if Kenobi is somehow just like tapping into the Force to like spectral Force check on her, like is she doing that okay?
Too. I think, and Tones in here, he doesn't seem to be a big fan of having Leia. It doesn't make sense to him as just on paper, but I do think incorporating a young Leia really opens up this series, and it opens up the Star Wars canon in general, because we get nothing about young Leia. I mean, there's a little bit in Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, you know what? I guess she does get a little more than even young Luke at this point. I mean, but young Luke gets a little shot in Rebels too. But Leia actually had episodes in Rebels and interacted with some of the main characters, and I think helped Wedge lead the Empire, shit like that.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. I like this idea. I mean, as I said, Luke was a no-brainer. It'd be ridiculous not to have a young Luke. I would actually like to see them interact and not just him looking from afar.
Yeah, because he knows who Ben Kenobi is.
Yes,
like it's not like he had never known this guy.
Exactly, because I know in Rebels they make it appear like Obi-Wan always keeps a few kilometers between him and the homestead if Luke's outside. But the way it's explained in A New Hope, old Ben, the crazy old hermit. I mean, he is a local that the Larses know about. Luke clearly knows about. So
yeah, and when Luke is, when old Ben saves him from the Tusken Raiders, it's not like Luke looks at him and doesn't know who he is. Right. Like they have based off of that interaction, like he knows who he is, and they have interacted before in the past. So
yeah, it's not like he doesn't go, "Hey, you fucking creep, get away from me."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you're Ben Kenobi. Yeah. I know who you are."
Right.
Like, so I think it's great. I mean, bringing in, like you said, bringing in Leia opens up avenues in the show beyond what we initially thought. Like at first we were like, okay, this is going to be all Kenobi focus. You'll see Luke in the distance. You'll see interactions with the Larses if need be. But for the most part, it's going to be Kenobi kind of doing his own thing, like trying to figure out what to do in this galaxy. Also, another important call out here is the age of these children that they're casting, 8 to 11 years old. So I'm not saying that this is putting a 100% foreshore timeline on this show, right. But like 8 to 11 years old gives you an idea. Like we're not talking 5 years outside of ROTS now. We're talking at least 8 years. We're talking a good distance between ROTS and this show, and that can put into perspective like what's happening in Kenobi's brain. Like he probably knows that Anakin is Vader. He probably there is a large portion of this galaxy that is now under the control of the Empire 8 years after the end of ROTS. So that also is an important call out, because now you have a time frame in mind of like what's going on. Where's Kenobi? Is he still trying to get off of Tatooine? Like it's very important that we're going to be in that kind of time range here.
Yeah, I just hope they film the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, at this point, nothing's set in stone outside of Mando season 2.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know when, filming is going to start on.
There are like some productions, but I don't think anything Lucasfilm has gone back to work. I mean, I know Jurassic World Dominion, whatever the fuck that's going to be, they're back up and running. There's some other big stuff. I know New Zealand was
heavily dependent on where you're filming it.
Oh yeah, nothing's getting filmed in America. I mean,
yeah, not right now.
Let's be real, especially not in Georgia, where you have Dollywood, and out in Hollywood. I mean, California is the epicenter, I believe, for the world at this point, and the South ain't doing too hot either. So,
no. So
yeah, I hope it gets filmed, because this series, even more so for me than Mando, could be extra special just because of the ties back to the core Skywalker characters. I mean, Mando did great to remind us that that show lived in the universe we all fell in love with back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, depending on when you were born. But this, with the Kenobi, with hopefully Anakin, the Skywalker kids, this is going to feel like home to me. Like, all right, this is the type of stuff I would have wanted to see when I was a little kid and all the original movies were over. This is the content that would have painted more of a complete picture for my Star Wars trilogy, right? Because at this point, it is becoming generational. People are attaching themselves to the Star Wars trilogy that was around when they were the youngest. I mean, we have the OT people like myself. We grandfather Nick in, sort of. You have the prequel people, so kids in the 90s, they look to that. Or even our buddy, Papa P. I mean, he's my age, but still, his love of Star Wars came from the prequels. Yeah, which is different. I mean, I don't know how at 18 or 19... I wouldn't have loved Star Wars yet, and then the prequels would have made me love it. But hey, it happens. And then you're going to have those that grew up during the sequel trilogy. So I'm really looking forward to Kenobi. I hope it does take off. I don't think it's going to get canceled. I'm just concerned at this point in time with the virus, how shit gets done, getting people together, filming, and people not dying. We cannot lose Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, no, he and Ewan's been the one person in terms of a primary Star Wars actor who has not vehemently hated it after he finished. Like, Ewan's always been like, yeah, I'd come back. I'd love the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I want to do it again.
We didn't post it because we were lazy. And last week I was kind of taking a mental health. I mean, I did my real life work and then mental health out, just kind of checked out of fake Star Wars land. But there's shit going around that Ewan, the beard's growing in, the hair's getting cut. So they're thinking he may be, getting ready to slip back into the tunic. So who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
I mean, you could see a little bit on that. We talked about an interview that he did a few weeks ago, and you could see on that like he had the scruff coming in. Like you could see that he was growing the beard out a little bit there, but apparently
I wonder if they're going to do this at UK lots or if they're going to do it in the States like they did with Mando.
Dude, I would imagine it's UK.
At this point, you have to. I know UK, they're not as good as some parts of the country, but they're not nearly as...
you got Pinewood there, and Pinewood is Star Wars home, so... you could do everything at Pinewood and then just call it a day. And then, I mean, even if you are going to try to go back to Jordan, I don't know what their situation is in terms of the virus or if they're having
for these series, man, they're not going on location like that ever again. I mean, with those walls and what they call it, what's the name they gave that room where it's literally the screens are on the ceiling?
Oh, the volume.
Yeah, the volume. They ain't going anywhere.
Yeah,
they're going to go to someone's fucking lot and set that shit up, and here we go. Yeah. And I mean, like we talked last week with the COVID-19 delays to the films and how there are plans to start scaling back some Star Wars movies. Not going to be these big
just scaling back budgets all around.
Yeah, fantastical, crazy, swashbuckling movies. They may be smaller scale productions. So you never know what things are going to look like. I mean, we know season 2 of Mando is going to be as is. It was recorded in the normal times, before the dark times, before the fall, all that stuff. So who knows? I hope Kenobi escapes all this nonsense and actually sees the light of day.
Agreed. So that brings us to the end of our topics for this week. Again, with no new shows and really no motion and filming or nothing that can happen in terms of production of new content yet, you really don't have a lot in terms of solid.
No, it's like what Tones and some are saying in the chat. I mean, the Cassian series at this point seems DOA. I mean, there's
we haven't heard a word about Cassian.
Not even sites like the Illuminati, or Star Wars Time Show are putting out shit about that. So.
Yeah, you were hearing rumors, Mando season 2, this series, Kenobi, and even animated stuff. Not a single word about Cassian Andor. It's crazy that has not even been mentioned. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're delaying
that's
that.
Going to be the Crimson Dawn that Ray Park was going to be in, but now he's not because he whipped his dick out and blah 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 blah.
So many.
Did you see that? Things. There's a recent post on our Reddit that we go to, Star Wars Leaks, where someone compiled all the potential projects. And like half the sources are, KRT or the internet or Joe Blow. I mean, you should see how much shit people have started throwing out there that's going to come out for Star Wars. It's ridiculous. We need to get into the fortune telling business, my friend. I'm telling you.
I would do it. Like, I agree that like we can definitely throw out some fortune telling stuff, but we are like insta banned off of Star Wars Leaks.
It's hilarious.
If I post anything on Star Wars Leaks,
it's just the bots. I mean, they just look at your username and the bot comes in and swats it down.
Yeah, it's shot to shit. And I don't know what it is, because if you create a brand new one too, it's not going to let you post. I have relatively high karma on Reddit. I have over 1,000 karma on Reddit.
Dude, I think Star Wars Leaks is the most collusion riddled subreddit out there.
There's 4 people.
Right.
The moderators only take in information or potential rumors from people that they like.
Kessel Run Transmissions, Jordan Mazin, and a few other fan accounts. They did ban MSW because of his stuff.
Yeah.
Before then, he was another mainstay. So
yeah,
they cover Bespin Bulletin as well. If you're not one of those people, don't even try putting stuff up there.
Yeah, I mean, if you even like I've said multiple times before, we had a legitimate, like, somebody we knew gave us a job posting for the Kenobi series before COVID hit. I tried to put it on Star Wars Leaks and it got deleted before it was even posted.
I think they let some of our stuff fly on Star Wars Speculation, but on
Star Wars Speculation they do. And it has its own sizable community, but people look to Star Wars Leaks, and the shit that's on Star Wars Leaks hits big news outlets Jedi Praxis with the entire Tross script leak.
I mean, I hide nothing here. I mean, Leaks is a go-to every day. I mean, if I can't find anything in my Hootsuite streams, excuse me, double. I'm headed over to Star Wars Leaks on Reddit, the scum of the internet.
Yeah. So. But that's all we got in terms of real news stories. So that's going to bring us to our fan segment of this week.
Let's get things switched up here. Because
I know that we had Kristen, one of our top 5 artists, in there. I will say, for those of you who are waiting on the top 5, we're still a few minutes out because we're going to go over our question of the week that was...
Hey, we're moving today, though. I mean, an hour 15, getting to the fan segment, that's speed right there. That is good. So, that is being quick.
I will say that the fan segment usually lasts between 30 and 40 minutes. So for those of you who are still strapping in, we're not quite done yet.
Yeah,
we still got.
You might want to go take a leak, get a snack, maybe get a drink, or knock yourself out for listening to our 2 dumbasses for 2 hours a week. So
just strap in.
Those are your options. All right, here we go, man. We're gonna get to the update of the Battle of the Basics. We've completed the next round. We have made it to what's after this, the semis,
the semifinals. So you got 2 matchups that are coming up, and then we have the finals. So the last 2 battles of this week. First up, we had Captain Rex, number 2 seed, versus number 10 seed Cad Bane.
Cad got treated like a 10 seed too in a late round.
I will say that. Yeah, I was gonna say, Matt, this was your sleeper pick for the whole. Dealio, and it did not go over.
He ran into a fucking buzzsaw. Well, a dual wielding buzzsaw in Captain Rex, because a 73-27 split. That's a beatdown.
Yeah, that is a beatdown. 92 votes for Rex, 34 votes for Cad Bane. And if you're new to the show, we call out some of our notable fandos who vote on these from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, this one, I guess it's. I don't know. I don't know if we can really shame anyone, but I am still interested to see, like, where are my CADs at? Give me some CADs.
Some notable CAD voters by request of Matt here. So we got Agosto voted for CAD.
All right.
Cryo, Captain Ordo.
Okay.
Papa. Hey. There we go. Scion, Rust Belt Collector, Star Wars Toy 73, Toy Box Photography. You had a lot of the fandos in there.
There are some fandos. There's some loyalists up in there.
So Star Wars Black Series 2019, Kingdom of Weird. I mean, those are some fandom. I think they threw you those votes because they felt bad.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, longtime listeners of the show know that I need my ego stroked on at least a weekly basis on the show. Yes. But if you just hearing us talking about Reddit and woe is me, no one likes us. Yeah, that's me. That's not Nick. Yeah. I perpetuate it through Nick just because he's tied to the show. This is all me. I'm the one that's the narcissist. Me. Make everything about me. Make every Star Wars thing about me.
But yeah, notable Rex, Klondike. You have, let's see, Intergalactic Raptor. You have Sir Dork. You got Baron's Black Series.
Yeah, all right.
Eco, Beer Man. I mean, there's a lot of,
I mean,
action figure snaps, tones. All
I didn't think it would be. I really didn't think it'd be this big of a split in Rex's favor. I wasn't going to be upset if Rex won. I mean, he is the 2. But I thought Cad would have had a little more juice in those blasters.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I do think if it comes, because I just think that Rex is such a force. Well, he's not just like a brute.
Well, he also kind of got a injected with steroids, if you will, thanks to the end of the Clone Wars. I mean, that's very true. The final 4 episodes of the show, the last 2 in particular, are pretty Rex heavy, and he does some pretty memorable stuff. Yeah, both him and Ahsoka. So I don't know. You could argue maybe a lot of people forgot about Cat at this point. I mean, he's been out of the Star Wars headspace, if you will, for years now.
A decade. Yeah, like a very long time since we've seen.
I forget which season he just kind of dissipates from Clone Wars, but there is it's almost like a distinct. Okay, Cad's done from the show.
We're moving on from Cad, and we're focusing on different villains.
Well, I do love the captain, so I'm not that upset. All right.
So good number of votes there. So we had almost 130 votes there out of, I don't know, it didn't show many people viewed.
Well, that's impressive because maybe people are still looking at our stories because they're sure as fuck not looking at our posts anymore.
There was a notable downswing of votes for our next one up here, and that was the Mandalorian versus Cara Dune matchup. This one really blows my mind here. 80-20 for Mando, and this is a rematch. Remember,
it ended in a stalemate in real life.
Yeah, and Cara was beating him pretty bad at one point. And, Mando turns it around and, like you said, ends in a stalemate, but still 80-20 for Mando, 81 votes for Mando, 19 for Cara. And so back down to 100 voters even there. I would like to see.
We can say one thing for sure. Mando might beat Cara, but Gina could definitely kick the shit out of Pedro.
Yeah, in real life, Gina Carano can probably. I'm being dead serious.
Like I don't even think it's a fight. I think she grapples him and he submits in a second.
I think Cara would. I mean, I think that Gina would knock him out if they were standing up. Because Gina, I mean, like for those of you who don't know and who don't follow mixed martial arts, Gina Carano is one of the pioneers of female mixed martial arts.
Well before what's her name, who
Ronda
is
Rousey
one of the worst actresses I've ever seen. Ever seen.
Like, she was the one who really brought female mixed martial arts to prominence. I'm not saying that she was the first one to do it. She was the one who brought it.
I would venture to say she was in the pioneer class, though.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. So like this girl is a legit fighter, female, mixed martial artist. So she could beat up Pedro Pascal.
Oh yeah, I mean she is my kind of woman. I mean she is built the way I like them.
Yeah. So let's get to notable Cara voters first. I voted.
All right,
for Cara.
There you go, Nick. My lazy ass didn't because, like I said last week, I kind of detached from fake reality.
Yeah, you were away from everything. So then we got Greggy Bird and his 3 alt accounts voted. And then look, I like this lineup here. Figure Hertz voted for Cara. Augusto voted for Cara. Sir Dork voted for Cara. Cryo voted for Cara. It just wasn't
enough. Not enough Cara fans out there to topple the Mando.
But, there was some still, like I said, this was a blowout in terms of
it seems a lot of them were voting. Influenced by the boy with his cool toys. And
Action Figure Noob was a Mando voter. Klondike Studios, Drew Toys, Wild Wing, Scion, Star Wars Toy 73, Miss Geeky Gem, Papa Palpatine, Toy Box Photography. There's a lot of people who voted for Mando here. So I can't blame them, but I gotta say, man, I disagree with this.
Yeah, you're drawing a line in the sand. You're saying the fans got it wrong.
I think they got it wrong because if you don't even look at the actors, Pedro and Gina, Cara Dune was a rebel shock trooper who lived through the entirety of the rebellion against the Empire, won the war, then comes in to the Imperial Remnant, beats the shit out of Mando in a straight up fight. And she still gets 80-20'd. I just don't agree.
I agree. I think the disparity in votes is too great.
If it was like 55-45, I'd be like, okay,
it's only because, and this is all silly. Like, if anyone's new listening to this, yes, we're talking about a fiction here, right?
Yes,
we all understand this, or at least Nick and I do. I can't speak for every Star Wars fan out there, but. We are just talking about a bunch of bullshit. But in terms of this bullshit, we have evidence with these two characters that they're pretty evenly matched.
Yeah.
So it is funny. But hey, I mean, people have their favorites. That's how this stuff's going to work out. I don't think people typically look at these fake ass tournaments as, oh yeah, really lining them up, power to power, take into account what we know about the characters or what we've even seen. I think it's just like, oh, Mando, fuck it, yeah, click.
Yeah, voting for the Mando. So yes, if you are a follower, make sure when the polls hit, go to the story, just click a button. All you gotta do is click one side or the other. Cast your vote.
You can do it. And I know we're starting to get hidden. IG is definitely hiding us. Our growth rate has suffered greatly over the past few months. We're definitely
almost to 6K. We're almost to 6K.
I know, but dude, we were on we're adding 100 every 2 weeks, if not a week. So we've been slightly put into IG jail. I mean, even just your question a week, I looked, it only had like 40 likes on it. I mean, we got some comments.
It's pumped up a little bit now, but definitely not as many as we were getting. Maybe I just got to think of better questions.
Yeah. All right. So question of the week. I didn't post it because I'm stupid. I just have the responses up there. We got 11 responses this week.
It's all good. So the question was, there are tons of planets in the Star Wars galaxy. Which one would you choose to live on? So this is a pretty fun one. I'm kind of like racking my brain. I'm like, fucking what other questions can I ask? So if anybody has any...
Yeah, that's another one. And I know Bossajan sent us the one, and I do think we use it at one point in time. Essentially, would we want Starkiller recanonized as an Inquisitor? Something like that. So, I mean, we got that one, but this is another one. Yeah, if you have suggestions for question of the week, submit them to @thatnickc or just at Star Wars Time Show.
Do it.
Slide into our DMs, as the kids like to say.
There we go. So we'll start off
You were asking planets, right? What planet would you want to live on? And we got the usual responses, so you're going to see some of the usual characters here. I mean, that's just because they put time and effort into the response versus Endor. It's like, okay, sweet.
Tatooine.
What the fuck's that? Yeah. All right.
Why?
Yay. Well, Sky. Like just yelling out words and shit. So you can always count on Brian, Action Figure Noob, for a detailed and heartfelt comment. So his one here is, I got to go with Coruscant since I live in NYC. I imagine it won't be so much different. The hustle and bustle. All kinds of trouble and drunken shenanigans you can get into. High-class power struggles, complaining about how it's too expensive to live there, but still make it. It's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of Coruscants on there.
Yeah, I know Baron threw Coruscant up.
Yeah. I will reserve my answer until the end, but yeah, Coruscant was a popular answer.
I liked his comparison because I think he lives in the heart of New York City, which is our Coruscant for sure.
If New York City is your home, then yes, Coruscant would be your Star Wars home for sure.
It would be no different as long as you were rich and you lived in the upper echelons of the city and not down at like 1313.
Otherwise, if you're living in 1313, it could be a different story.
Right.
Up next, we have Force Father. He says, that's a really tough one. Obviously not Alderaan.
I had to throw in one of the cheeky ones. We had multiple Alderaan nods with kind of the same intent behind it.
Yeah, so, Alderaan, just leave right before the explosion.
Got a lot of comedians in the Star Wars Time Show fan base here.
So next up, we have not Spencer Barron.
Check this out.
But Blanche Barron. So his wife responds to this question, and she says, okay, so it's such a hard choice. We'll start with Tatooine. That's where the beloved cantina is. However, Endor is where the Ewoks are. So there. I would have to split my time between the two.
I love it. I love the explanation. We'll let her do it too. I mean, fuck it. There was no exact rule. You had to only pick one, right? You didn't put the only one. You could
have your vacation treehouse on Endor.
And they do have a treehouse in real life, which is just their apartment patio that I think they've mounted a fucking TV out on it and Christmas lights and shit.
There you go.
Just to enjoy life. And I don't blame it. It's the same shit I do with my tent. I'm not kidding. I'm going to be setting up my tent in probably another week or so. Because for someone that does believe in locking down and not being an asswipe, it does kind of give the false sense of you're not in the same just Groundhog Day scenario.
Yeah, you're not home, even though you are in your backyard. Right. You're just not home.
But I love that Blanche is getting in on the fun, and I love that Spencer pointed out that she was getting in on the fun. Like we're too dumb to realize that Blanche Barron is Spencer Barron's wife. So.
Yes, we can figure that one out.
So Blanche, we speak your name. Thank you for getting involved. Maybe you can listen again, because I know the one time you listened, we said Blanche, and it sounded like an older name, and you got upset.
Yeah,
that was not a bad thing. It's a very regal, classy type of name. You don't hear that, so we like the Blanche.
Yes. Next up, we got Mark Walker photo here.
Yep.
Excellent toy photographer. Kashyyyk or the Forest Moon of Endor. So Endor coming back up, another very popular destination. Growing up and running around Sherwood Forest means I kind of need trees around. I
just loved Mark's answer for that because. When you hear Sherwood Forest, at least a dumb American, you're like, oh, Robin Hood.
Think Robin Hood, yeah.
But it is real.
It is, yeah. No, Sherwood Forest is a real place. I just watched an episode. I don't know if anybody's ever watched it, but it was Expedition Unknown with Josh Gates. And he, one of the more recent episodes I watched was about Robin Hood, and he went to the real Sherwood Forest and everything like that. So it was pretty cool.
It's real, people.
He says, keep your cities. It has to be a forest. Plus, I do a cracking Wookiee impression, so I reckon we get on.
Can I just say, I love
UK slang.
I don't know, is it slang or is it just proper English?
They're vernacular.
Yeah, I mean, we speak a form of English. It's not the King's English, if you will. It's our fucked up
Wookiee.
It's our fucked up, twangy, Southern infused, moronic version of the English language.
Yes.
I just love that stuff. Like I do a cracking Wookiee impression.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Or here, this one comes from Australia, and hopefully it's not a bad word. But Bossajan just replied in the live stream chat. I sent my answer in and accidentally hit send before giving my reason because I'm a foam face.
Foam face? I've never heard. Does he mean like he's like a rabies idiot?
I have no idea. I don't know if that's another way of calling yourself slow or a dumb or an idiot, but I'm going to try to remember that one. But like I said, it's probably like saying you're retard or something that you're not allowed to say anymore. But
yes, not a very PC term. If we know Bossajan, like we think we know him, he's
his mouth is like mine. I mean, we're like brothers from another mother, at least in terms of the way we speak. But I'm a foam face. I love that foam face.
Nice.
Muppet. Yeah, Tones is. I've heard Muppet in UK for like a dummy.
Yeah, I've heard that before. So next up, we got Cryo Photography, one of our evangelists.
This motherfucker's getting showered with praise today. He's getting all sorts of mentions on the show.
Cryo, yeah, Cryo is going to be. He will come up again in the show.
Big hint,
towards the top 5. Cryo in here. Naboo seems like it would have some really. Oh my God, it's Cryo. This is a family-friendly show.
Yeah,
sir.
right.
He says it seems like they would have some really sexy girls walking around, cool monolithic structures that as a photographer, I would love to get in front of.
He didn't completely think with his little head with this answer.
He didn't. He thought with his camera a little bit. Put a smoking.
Yeah, but then he goes back to Little Head at the end.
Yep. Put a smoking hot alien in the mix, and we are golden. And then Black Series Bonanza responds, put a smoking hot alien in the mix, and we are golden. It's true, but you didn't have to say it.
I love it.
There we go.
Hey, man, I mean, I can't really hate on Cryo because I am the one on the show that has come out and say that I have a thing for Star Wars female aliens, especially those with neck tendrils.
Head tendrils.
Yeah,
he likes the Leku.
Give me a little Isla, give me an Ahsoka, a proper age, Shakti here or there. You never know.
Yeah. Matt's. You already know what Matt is pushing his wife for her Halloween costume.
Oh, I didn't tell you what I got for my birthday.
No, what'd you get?
I mean, outside of getting a functional working lightsaber that I could actually use to, stab stuff and kill people with.
Oh, which way? Whose did you get? Did you get like a custom?
No.
Did you get
I was going to say, outside of getting that, the next best thing is what my wife got me. Like, I was completely blown away. I don't think you'll ever get. I don't think you could guess. I had no idea.
Did you get like a replica E11 blaster or something like that?
No, I got a real fucking 9mm handgun, motherfucker!
Oh, okay, yeah, you did tell me
Yes! Because you've heard me on the show just bitching about it, right? I was like, I need guns. And lo and behold, she did like a scavenger hunt for me. Because again, I'm 40 years old, but wanted my birthday to feel like it was 5 years old. So I woke up in the tent last Tuesday. There was a note on my pillow, and I had to go basically hunt around the house. I was getting little gifts on each stop. It was really cool. Then the last one was a 9mm Sig Sauer P320. It is a beautiful looking handgun. It's a two-tone. It's got the desert, kind of the desert camo grip, and then the gunmetal slide. But whew, blown away, man. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
So you got a real life blaster.
I got a motherfucking blaster. Finally. But yeah, sorry, Cryo. I didn't mean to step on your reply there, but I just got reminded of that excellent gift that my lovely and very thoughtful wife got for me.
That is a very nice
quite
gift.
A dangerous gift because I'm unhinged, but I've got...
You keep that locked up in the gun safe. Keep it away from your
look at
child.
Greg saying, Greg and Liam in the chat, oh, fuck, Matt has a gun now. Everyone hunker down and pray to God. Greg, is that safe giving Matt a gun? Oh, boy.
We've seen what Matt does with Rambo knives.
Are the cats still okay? Don't worry, Fandos. Everyone's all right. I still have the slide lock in, the nice little orange jammer, so the gun cannot be chambered as is right now.
There we go.
But yeah, I got a handgun, so watch the fuck out, toys. You see what I'll do with my Rambo knife when my toys piss me off. Just wait until I break out the next little shithead figure arts figure whose hands or heads don't want to go on straight. It's gonna be a cap. Blast his ass.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Liam, he's got it. Another crate Luke, but a 9mm through that puppy.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I love it. I've at least convinced everyone that I am nuts on this show, and that was my goal. All right, up next, the Coral Pulse, one of our a top fiver on the show. Definitely Dantooine. I like this one. Whole place just screams Kansas, so I'd get along just fine there, as long as Kath Hounds don't get me, that is.
That's a good callback to the Old Republic game. So yes, if you've played Knights of the Old Republic and you remember where the Jedi Enclave was, that was on Dantooine, and it's I'm
assuming Coral Pulse lives in Kansas and just wants to kind of feel like home. So good call there.
Good call. All right, Black Series Bonanza. He also agrees with Cryo here on Naboo. He says Naboo seems pretty ideal, peaceful for the most part, nice climate, nice architecture, mid-rim, so not poor but not super expensive. Seems to value art and learning, only moderate quantities of sand. There you go.
So Black Series Bonanza got in twofold. The last line there, only moderate quantities of sand. That's a great little dig. Because that's, on Naboo is where we got one of the most iconic lines from the prequels.
Of course.
But also because now it makes sense why Black Series commented on Cryo's post about Naboo.
Yeah, because they agree.
They laid out literally kind of the same argument, except Cryo took it a step further and said he wanted to look at hot alien chicks. So
yeah, he added in the extra that did not need to be added in Black Series Bonanza.
Yeah, so I like that reply.
BPP Hayes is up next. He says the one with the least amount of sand, because I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough.
Lots
and
of these too. So, I mean,
and it gets everywhere.
The Star Wars fans know their memes. They know their lines. There's no doubt about it.
I would imagine that Kamino would probably have very little sand because it's a completely liquid planet.
Yeah, there you go. Because he did kind of just not lay down a planet. So I think you nailed it. I think Kamino would be perfect for this guy. Because
even like Mustafar has like a version of sand.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think about the planet where the Mon Cal and the other squid face fuckers live. Is that all water?
I think so. I think Mon Cala is a completely water planet. So
right, because there's the two species. There's squid face species, and then there's Akbar species that live there. Right?
Quarren, yeah.
And the Quarrens teamed up with the Seps, and the Mon Cal teamed up with the Republic.
Yep, that was in Clone Wars. Yep. Go watch it. Good call, BPP Hayes.
Well, so I just skipped over Tones. Tones always makes an appearance in the question of the week because, like Action Figure Noob, he takes his time, lays it down, and sometimes puts in spelling errors, but that's half the fun.
This is the level of detail.
That's what I mean. I mean, you can always count on Tones for the details. So he's going Takodana, The Force Awakens, Maz's planet. Part of it was filmed in the Lake District in Cumbria, UK. The Falcon's approach to Maz's castle. Look at that. So flying over those trees, which is just a mere 70 miles from Tones' house. Most of what you see in that shot is real. There's hardly any CGI, and I've climbed most of those hills. An absolutely stunning part of England. So as well as getting ranked, I think he meant tanked, and Maz's bar, I'd spend my time walking the hills and mountains.
Yeah. I think that's a good call. Yeah. Takodana, we didn't see much of it outside of the approach and then actual, Maz's
her castle seemed rad until those dickheads blew it up. So
yeah, it looked like a really, really nice place. So I like that call out of Takodana. YC Solo, a desert planet. There are so many in Star Wars. They must be very pretty. And yes, I do love sand. Because it sticks everywhere. I
had to get every angle on sand in this fucking question of the week segment. That was my operating mode today when I was picking.
It's like, did you call out sand? Yes? Okay.
But he likes sand, so he wants to go to the desert planet. Sign him up for Tatooine.
Oh, yeah.
Sign him up for Pisana.
As well here. Oysters on the half shirt says the pink spa planet that Maz is on in Resistance Reborn. They also have to stop inventing new planets.
First and foremost, I was like, what the fuck is Resistance Reborn? So I had to look it up and reminded myself that, it's a book. So that's why I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So this is a good call out by Oysters. Basically, at the beginning of Resistance Reborn, Poe and all of the people who are alive and who are out there after basically the destruction of the Resistance and TLJ at the end of TLJ, they're like, all right, we have to find people. We have to recruit people to build up our forces again. So you have Snap and his wife go off to talk to Wedge, and Wedge is Snap's uncle. They go off and they find Wedge.
Got you.
But Poe goes to look for Maz, and Maz, the way that Oysters on a half shirt describes this is 100% accurate. It is a pink cloud spa planet where she is just chilling. She's just sitting in a fucking spa facility all day and all night, just getting pampered and not giving a fuck about what's going on in the galaxy. So Poe shows up there and he lays out everything. He's like, we just got rocked. Like, we have nobody. We need help. We have nobody left. And Maz is just like, I'm going to stay here. She's like,
that's very Maz-like though, because even in The Last Jedi, she pretty much does the same thing to Poe. She's like, "Hey, dickhead, I got a jetpack on, I've got shit to do, I'm shooting stuff, figure it out.
I'm doing my own thing."
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's a good, and it's literally it's like Bespin, except all the clouds are pink, and it is not. There's nothing else there except the spa. So that's a good call out, and I have to say that would be a very relaxing planet to live on.
There's some fucked up shit going on in Beirut right now.
There is. I saw that earlier.
They just updated at least 50 dead, 2,700 injured. No one knows what the explosion was yet.
Yeah, if people haven't seen that,
look it up. It was nuts. It happened earlier this morning. There's a huge like orange and brown mushroom cloud.
Massive explosion.
And I think something happened in the port. Don't know if it's like terrorist stuff or just an accident yet, but it's not looking good. Not looking good. All right, so off of the depressing real life stuff, and
so what would your answer be? Me? Where would you want to stay?
Let me think about this real quick. The way I like to live. Man, it's easy, I think, but it's like a yin and a yang, or a black and a white, or two sides of a coin. It's Hoth or Mustafar.
Wow.
Because both are desolate wastelands.
Yes.
And in my head, even now, my preferred habitat would be underground in like a bunker, right?
Makes sense.
Where, I still have like a structure up top, but then I have this massive compound underground, like an Echo base, or Vader's castle. I would take that too. Yeah. But no, I like the desolation feel. I like that the extremes on the weather. One, I could never go outside. The other one, I could only go outside if I was in like a hazmat suit. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's me. I mean, I'm kind of like that. Just leave me alone. Let me bunker up and have a really cool kind of a base thing.
Okay. So I'll give two responses as well. So I'm going to echo a lot of what people were saying in the responses with Naboo, because I think Naboo seems like a legit, very relaxing place to live outside of the Trade Federation dispute and everything else. I mean, you're right by water. You have access to water, fishing, swimming, all this stuff. The open fields look very nice to sit down and have a picnic on, profess your love to somebody potentially.
There you go.
So that seems like a chill planet all around. And then my other one would be Acto, because I want to be somewhere where there's water. Because I just like, even if I'm alone, I want to fish.
Yeah,
I just want to be able to fish.
You are kind of a fisher. Now that I think about mine, I would be dead in about 2 or 3 days.
How are you going to get food?
Because there's no way my fat ass is going to go out and hunt wampa or tauntaun to eat. And I don't think anything lives up. Well, I guess on the good parts of Mustafar where Kylo was fucking shit up, I might be able to find some sort of something to eat. But yeah.
You would you'd probably starve, or you would have to have people ship in food shipments to you.
Yeah, or just whoever's around me, just start eating them.
You'd have to you'd have to use like Postmates to get, intergalactic.
Yeah, fuck it. I'd call up Picard and have him drop off a fucking one of those things in Star Trek where you can just
one of the food.
Yeah, make me a 40-ounce beer.
Yeah, that's
just generates
there you go. But yeah, those are I gotta be by. I don't want to stay on Camino because it's all water. Yeah. But I would want to be somewhere where I can access.
I think Luke's Island is ideal for you. Because you could get your extremely long spear fishing in, right?
Yep.
I mean, the dude literally spear fishes with like a mile-long pole. Or I'm sure you could just, drop a line from up there too. But you have to do it on that real teeny ledge and then somehow land your shot from way up there. Yes.
I think it would be fun. But right, I mean that's
I'm
gonna
my
fucking
choice. Sell my house. I'll be moving next week.
Yeah, you can move in to have the caretakers just set up the hut next to mine, and on Acto.
Yeah, you can feed me because I'll just be sitting there like playing with my lightsaber in odd ways with the door shut.
Unless somebody shoots through the wall. Yeah. But in real life, I always tell Taylor that I could live anywhere as long as I have internet. That's the only requirement for me.
Yeah, that's safe at this point. Although these days, thanks to Ghosts and really just the run of great first-party PS4 games, I think I need my PS4 and a TV too.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. I almost went out and bought a second PS4 just for the tent this past week because I'm too fucking lazy to unhook I have the 50,000 like limited edition money one, like it's all see-through blue and has bronze and it's marked and stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't want to unhook shit. I'm a lazy asshole, right? I have an entertainment center. I don't want to unhook the cords and this, that, and the other thing.
See if you can find a pro on
I got over it. I'm like, dude, you're an asshole if you do that, especially because the 5's coming out later this year. It'd just be moronic. Yeah. But I love Ghost so much. It's just one of those games you can throw on and do meaningless shit for an hour, 2 hour here or there, run around, fucking slash some people up, save some people over here, find some new gear, try to make your guy look like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. I mean, that's a good. I love the game. So, anyways, all right, well, that was fun. That was the first 2 parts of our fan segment, but now we are here for the bread and butter, the reason that people actually listen to this show, the only reason that Greg Bird listens to the show, and that is the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. So hopefully some of the new featured artists were able to stick around through our damn near, where are we at now?
We're like at almost hour 45.
2 hours of bullshit. Like literally, we really discuss nothing that is going to improve your life or added value to your knowledge base.
Very true.
But now we are here to shower you all, you artists, you Star Wars artists, with the most uneducated praise you will ever hear thrown out about art.
Yes.
And without further ado, I turn it over to Nick in his top 5 for the week running 7/27 to 8/3.
There we go. So this week's top 5 kicks off with a pretty fantastic piece of real art, digital painting, traditional art, whatever you want to call it. This is from at KMELROZZZZ, 4 Z's, on Instagram. So K Melrose. And then if you click over to her page, her name is Kristen. And she's got an absolutely beautiful recreation of the end of Clone Wars season 7, where you have Rex and Ahsoka fighting next to each other on the Republic cruiser they were heading back from.
Yeah, I'm taking this as right when they bust out of the medical room. So Rex has been cleaned. They're ready to start sort of stun kicking ass, right? Because they're not allowed to kill. Not allowed to kill. And
you can see the stun bolt.
Oh yeah,
there
Kristen got the
right.
stun bolts in there perfectly. But I love the action pose. I love how it's kind of stylized. You know, Rex is kind of like, doing like a wah, and Ahsoka's like a woo. See, this is how we describe art. We can't even use real ass paint here because it's real ass digital paint, I would imagine. I don't know if this is vector art. Either way, it's art that makes me happy.
Kristen was in the chat.
She's still here. So Kristen, once you catch up to the delay, if you could let us know what your main style is or what this is called.
What's your medium? Is this digital paint? Is this real paint?
Either way, we just make sound effects about it, like whoo, whoosh, bang, pay. Woo,
but here's what I really love about this painting is that even though this is all done on either a canvas or this is done on, a digital canvas, the lighting effects that she gets.
She says it's in Photoshop.
Okay. So that's impressive if it's all done in Photoshop. So it's beautiful work. It's just the way that she captures the light of both the bolts, the lightsaber, the lights in the background from the medical room that they busted out of, and then just the smoke effects on the bottom. Like the atmospheric effects of this painting, of this piece of art is just, they're fantastic. And it really makes it stand out.
Yeah. I like, as you said, the colors, all right, very vibrant. They pop. I love, Ahsoka, that orange is almost glowing off of her. The stun bolts here, but yeah, she's filled us in a little bit. So Photoshop, it's not vector, but she uses a lot of gradients. We'll just have to take her word for it. We love it. It looks excellent. Kristen, please keep tagging us in your future Star Wars creations because they are things of beauty.
Yeah, I mean, just scrolling through her feed, I mean, you can see some just truly amazing pieces of art here. So she has one concept piece that's Finn and Rey fighting, training together post.
Look at that.
Rise of Skywalker. Look at that.
I just love the style because it's a very animated style. If I can, I don't know, Kristen, if you have an actual style, go ahead and chat us up and we'll mention it. But it does. I mean, there's a little Disney influence there, but yeah, I would have loved to have seen this. Are you kidding me? This is how Rise of Skywalker should have ended.
Yeah,
like these two fighting. I like Finn with a green lightsaber. I love him in his tunic. I mean, she's got the bros battling on Mustafar. Look how excellent that is. This is another artist where we're gonna have to demand a coffee table book.
Yeah, all right. And look, she does commissions, I believe, as well. So.
Pay the lady. Hit her up.
Yeah. So if you
man, look at these. Look at this one where it's the fight between Ahsoka and Maul. That one, I mean, that one kind of has a venomous feel to it, where it's even more stylized. Like the blades are kind of flared out.
The way that the blades clash and you see that, man, that's really good stuff. Just beautiful artwork all around. You can see that Star Wars is one of her primary focuses.
We're just going through her full page right now just to kind of give those on the live stream a view of what Kristen puts out, and it's fantastic stuff. So she's a young artist out there. Support her at KMEROLZZZZ.
There we go.
And she did chime in. She has no idea what her style is. So describe it however we want. So
there we go. We like it.
She does real ass digital paint, and it looks fucking rad. There you go.
Yes. There we go.
So thank you, Kristen, for joining in. That was awesome to kind of get that live feedback. But like I said, if you could remember to use hashtag Star Wars Time Show, or at least tag us on your future work, because we want to see it. We want to keep featuring it. And you never know, you might even make another top 5. And if I were a betting man, you will make another top 5.
Good traditional or whatever regular art, it always catches my eye. Yeah. I mean,
me too.
Me too. It's not, because of any particular reason, because, we're definitely more toy photography focused here, but just really good, like Super Scoundrel.
I love
Kristen,
it.
Venomous.
Before I even knew toy photography existed, that it was an evil art form. It is an evil art form. It's not what I was meant to say, but it is an evil art form. But before I knew it existed, I was always drawn and enamored with Star Wars art pieces, predominantly from the fans themselves. I mean, yes, looking at shit from Doug Chang, it's going to look amazing. But I love what fans create, because a lot of times fans are going to do things slightly out of the box. They're not constrained to the Lucasfilm overlords. So I'm with you, man. I love our toy photographers, and they put out some absolutely insane stuff with these little pieces of plastic. But traditional art is always something that just blows my mind, probably because I know I have zero ability to do it. I have 10% ability to do the toy photography stuff, but this type of stuff, no way. I don't even know how to get my brain to make my hand do that.
Yeah, it's magic. Basically, what happens from here to here is magic.
I mean, my brain struggles just lining up a plastic figure on a table and posing it to make it look like it's not a plastic figure. So this stuff to me, like writing video game code or writing code to launch a fucking spaceship, that stuff just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's difficult for sure. So let's move on in the top 5 here. Next up, we have our good buddy. We have at Cryo Photography in the top 5 with this fucking killer Jaina Solo shot. And I will tell you that Jaina Solo is one of the, like, every time I see a Jaina Solo, a little piece of my brain goes off, because I love that character from the old EU, and I really like seeing people bring it to life in toy photography or any other.
She's honestly one of the better just random Black Series figures too. I mean, she is truly still Legends, yet she got a Black Series figure. That doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, and I mean, the really good part about this shot, I mean, first off, the bisection of the Stormtrooper with Jaina's signature pink lightsaber is just perfectly executed by Cryo. But what's really fucking awesome is the way that he has the smoke diffusion going from pink at the where the lightsaber is to the traditional like gray smoke up
Cryo is someone that knows how to use Photoshop to his advantage. He knows the ins and outs. I mean, he is a designer by trade, so he knows how to use the software to enhance what's in his mind. Something I lack tremendously. I fucking hate Photoshop. I don't want to learn the tricks, but I know what you can do with it. You can do really creative and wild looking shots like what Cryo did right here. So, and this is kind of what he does. I mean, Cryo does a lot of interesting creative type of setups. He mashes franchises, mash figures, but also just come up with fucked up ideas like having Jaina Solo chop a patrol trooper in half, starting at its head.
What's perfect is, like, I don't know if he did anything or if this is just how the face sculpt of this figure looks, but like Jaina's got like a smirk on her face.
That's her face. It does look like he dodged her eyes a little bit, the whites, to make the whites stand out a bit more. But she does kind of have that little. It's a little Solo smirk.
Yeah. It's a little shit-eating grin. Like she knows
she's enjoying cutting this guy in half, essentially.
Yeah. It's just it's a beautiful shot of a character that I was a huge fan of back in the old EU. I was a really big Jaina Solo fan, and I'm happy. I'm always happy to see a good piece of art featuring her. Yeah. So at Cryo Photography, CHRYO Photography on Instagram. Give him a follow.
He does Marvel. He's basically pop culture. He's got you covered. He also, like I said, I'm on his page right now. I still think at some point in time, Nick, the Zori, where it's kind of like our pinup. Zori is resting on Poe's helmet, but our logo's back there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like almost that needs to be a shirt or something on the sleeve. I love that. I love that design.
That is so fucking cool, man.
Love that design.
I love it. It's just fantastic work that Cryo does. So definitely give him a follow. Well worth it. Puts out incredible work on a regular basis.
And he is a Star Wars Time Show faithful. He is the preacher. That's what we call him. So check him out.
Yep.
And he is right now. I will admit. I mean, he puts out great work. So don't take this the wrong way, Chris. But he is in IG's favor. Okay. The guy gets great traction. So hopefully it keeps up for him, because it's a great feeling to put out posts and actually have people see them and like them. So keep up whatever you're doing, Cryo, because I see you, man. You're pulling 5, 6, 7, 800 a pop. That is something to be proud of. So I know I see your shots all the time because I'm always clicking on like. People, you got to do it. I know I've stopped putting in my title card where like, comment, share. As sad as it is, it needs to be done with the way the algorithm is designed. You will not see accounts if IG does not see you liking those accounts on a regular basis. It's almost like you have to build your own algorithm now. If you like certain accounts and you're not seeing them, go to their page and mass like. It's the only way to hopefully get them to pop back up in your feed.
Okay.
So there you go. There's my 2 cents on the fucked up IG algo. My account is in straight dire straits again. I mean, I'm like piss poor, 200, maybe 300, only shared during Toy Pop sessions, which I hate, but it is what it is. Good thing I got new shots to share then. Woohoo! Toy photography.
You got some 500s in there recently with the Hyperreal Vader.
That's cheating, man. Like, I know I've explained it before. I'll do it again for those that are new.
Figures.
If you share during a Toy Pop session, you're essentially getting a slight reprieve from IG's algo, meaning there are dedicated people all sharing shots at 11 o'clock every night. And the gist is you share a shot and then you go through and like most of the others. So to me, that is cheating. You're kind of skirting around the natural algorithm or how your account is treated. To me, I know when my account's not fucked if I can release a shot at any time during the day and it actually goes somewhere. When I got out of jail, for example, remember I was doing a pre-9 a.m. and a Toy Pops jerk-off share.
Yep.
My pre-9 a.m. started to get up to the 4, 500, 600s. These days, they don't get past 200. So it is what it is. But I am happy for Cryo because he seemingly can post whatever fucking time of the day, and his fans are going to see his shit. It's almost like it's how the app should work.
That's the dream. But that's not the dream. That's not the reality of Instagram. That is. So
good work there, Cryo. Keep it up.
All right. Let's move on to the next entry here in the top 5. This is 030079AR.
It's Ray. We featured Ray before.
Yeah, Ray has been on here before, and I know that Cryo was reaching out for more clarity on our live stream.
Is that who Furious D36 is, or is that the Duke?
I don't know, because Ray apparently lives in Indonesia and there's an 11-hour time difference. So
he should be sleeping. There's no reason. Like the guys in Australia that get up for this shit. We love you. We speak your name, but you're on drugs. Like there's no reason for that.
But yes, if Ray is in the chat, this is a fantastic image here, and Ray's focus is Lego photography. But what he does with Legos, like, is just fucking mind blowing sometimes. And this is a perfect example of it. You see I think this is a Death Trooper. It's like a Lego
it's
Death
like a demon trooper with those red eyes. I mean, this thing just looks fucking evil. This thing looks like it could have taken out Darth Vader.
Oh yeah, if Vader was against this trooper, dead for sure. I mean, the red, like you said, the red eyes. Ray always does incredible shit with in post, man.
Yes, like he is a Photoshop composite type of master.
Yeah, and if you look at this shot and you kind of scroll through to the second non-edited shot that you see, you can see the black little Lego trooper. He has the weathering, so the dirt on his head that you see here, but everything else that you see is added in post. The red eyes, obviously the laser blast, the two little rings that you see on his helmet, the bokeh that's coming in from the right side from like probably an explosion that happened off to his right, the light source that's coming in from the left. I mean, everything that really makes this pop is added by Ray in post, and it is fantastically done, just so well executed with the post processing here, and like that's what Ray's thing is, man. Right. He really can take
his action scenes are dialed up to 100.
Oh yeah, dude! Like you crank this shit all the way up.
I'll pull up his account for those on the live stream just to see some.
And
like
he's
right
a well followed account too.
Like old man Luke. So. Like look at that the lightsaber trail he gets in there, the particle effects. But as Nick's saying, if I go to the setup, it's Luke on some dirt with a bunch of stormtroopers on toothpicks and stuff.
Yeah.
So he really just excels at the obviously the setup, because without the setup, the effects mean nothing.
Yeah.
So the setup's great, but then what he can do in Photoshop or wherever the fuck he uses is just amazing. Again, this is something I could learn. I could actually get college credit to learn Photoshop. I could get a fucking degree for free to learn this shit. And I refuse to because I'm an asshole. And then I sit here and bitch why no one likes my shots. Well, maybe it's because they're not dynamic and they're pretty fucking plain. Hello. They don't look like this shit. So excellent work here, Ray. Always love what you do with Legos.
Yeah, it's fantastic work that you put out with these Lego figures.
Oh, look at this one. It's like he recreated a Lego Battlefront GUI. Like if you're on his page, he is showing us what Lego Battlefront would look like from the perspective of a Lego Stormtrooper.
Oh man,
pretty rad. It's just a great idea. So
yeah. Oh, okay, I see it now. Fucking sick, man. Like I love it. I love this guy's work. It's always a pleasure to see you scroll across the feed. So
one of the most interesting Lego photographers on Instagram, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, and it looks like he's got tutorials as well up there too, because he's got some of his things are tagged tutorial, and he'll show you how to make like a glowing visor or something like that in there. So check it out. 030079AR. I don't know if he was able to make it into the chat, but regardless, it's up for you to watch at your convenience, Ray. You can watch it on the YouTube or anywhere else that you want to subscribe to the podcast. All right, next up on the top 5, we have Duke _3001 with a really awesome Scout Trooper shot. And what I really like about this, and what really kind of, sold me on this shot, is one, the environment around it is just awesome. I don't know if this is like, Duke's backyard, or if he's got a spot somewhere where he can go out, drop it down in this little tropical
it's a prime location for a Scout Trooper, considering they scout stuff.
Exactly. Like this looks like where a Scout Trooper would be coming through to look for things. Like, are there rebels around here? And then 2 is like, it's just the subtle positioning, the way that he has the Scout Trooper set up is really well done, because it looks like he's leaning a little bit over to his right.
It's like he's mid walk, or he's stepping over a log that's in his way en route. So
yeah, and like he's got this lean to him, and it almost looks like he's like leaning out of whatever's in his way for his vision and looking in that specific direction. So I just really like the setup. I like the environment. The smoke effect in the background really sells that he's in some sort of like misty jungle that he's working his way through.
I'm thinking this might be the Hot Toys Scout Trooper as well.
Okay, let's see.
I'm thinking that it looks like there's some cloth under there, and if it's Black Series, I mean that would be plastic. So this might be a Barbie.
He's got hashtag sideshow in there a couple times.
So it's a 1/6 scale. It doesn't matter. I mean, I was looking at the cloth. I'm like, man, that's got to be one of the couple $100 versions of the Scout Trooper, not our lovely $20 Black Series version.
Yeah. So I mean, again, like sometimes we get really the super heavy post setups like we saw from Ray just now. And then sometimes just something very simple, a simple setup with a really good figure.
We call these a Haywood Pop setup. Keeping it simple, stupid. Not calling Duke stupid. I'm stupid, but I'm with you, man. And when I did my shoots last week, I kept them very, very simple. I mean, I got the table out. It's the first time I did a table shoot all summer. There's some fireworks, so you might see some of that shit. There's some real smoke bombs, so you might see some. Actually, the vintage boba I put out last night was real smoke.
Yeah, you showed me. You sent me that.
Not atmosphere, but yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate a nice portrait any day because that's kind of my specialty. But I also know it's probably hopefully a stress-free shoot for Duke setting this one up.
Hopefully so. We all know
if I was doing shit like Cryo and some of these other people, like Jason B. Michael, that do these insane setups, I'd be dead by now.
Yeah, Matt would have jumped
I would have taken that knife
roof.
and it just went right through my throat.
Morbid as always from our good buddy Matt. Keep his spirits up, everybody.
It's a glass half empty type of life.
All right. At Duke _3001 on Instagram. Well done, sir. Check them out. Last up for the top 5. And remember, Matt, this is a Haywood Pop shot breakdown of the week type of week.
Oh, we may need to revise this segment. Well, first off, I don't know if it's good for my mental health. I also don't know if anyone gives a shit to just hear me bitch and moan even more than I already bitch and moan.
But you know that you at least get encouraging words from the chat.
Yeah, but I don't need therapy on the show. I am thinking I did make a graphic because at one point in time, in addition to a few times a year doing the Ask Us Anything, remember we talked about, and I think Sir Dork brought this up, actually having fans submit shots for me to critique like I critique mine.
I think that's something that we
know what I mean? I don't know if people are ready for that. I don't know if people will like me after that, but I would essentially approach a submitted shot the way I approach my own work. I'd be brutally honest. I would tell you what works. I'd tell you what doesn't work. So if that's something we may want to get into to replace, or at least maybe I'll only do one poo-poo on match shot a month and we'll rotate in fan submitted shots to get beat up, then we'll talk about that. But this isn't my shot, by the way, the one we're looking at on the live stream. Yeah. This is at Homemade Galaxy. I think it's a new account that's kind of been blowing up. They're very active, dropping tons of posts every day. It seems like anytime they get a new figure, it's getting shot at least in various, 6-7 different setups. I think this is a family account. The dad does the shooting. The kids do the figure picking and the pose recommendations. And the one we get here it's kind of a meme of a scene from A New Hope where when Luke's given the lightsaber, at least Mark Hamill on set, when he was looking at it, was literally staring into the dangerous end of the blade,
right into the emitter.
So Homemade kind of remade that, but it kind of stylizes a bit. So Obi-Wan's sitting there with his arms like no, and then C-3PO's almost like you could argue C-3PO's almost as dumb as Luke, right? Like he's trying to get a better angle on staring into the death end of a lightsaber.
I almost thought it was like C-3PO because 3PO is never going to be obtrusive. He's almost leaning over like, sir, you may not want to do that. Yeah,
so it could be that or the other thing. So I don't know. I thought the posing was very well done, and it was just a great nod to a meme that's out there. Like I said, is it in the movie? Where when he's first handed it, he looks...
He doesn't look directly into it, but he definitely moves it to where the emitter is right in front of his face.
But there is a shot that I don't think is photoshopped of Hamill literally staring into the death end of the lightsaber. I don't know if it was like a on the set shot or right before they shot the scene. But it is out there, and I'm assuming that's why Homemade made this shot. But it was just like I said, it's a great setup and a great recreation of this, what has become kind of a Star Wars fan in the know type of moment.
Exactly. So at Homemade Galaxy on Instagram, well worth a follow. Good, fun family account. Go give him a like on Instagram. Well done. And that's the end of the top 5, and that will bring us to the Haywood Pop Shot breakdown of the week.
Okay, here we go. I'm slowly going to scroll it up.
Slowly scroll.
Okay.
I'm a fan of this shot, so tell us what we got here, Matt, and tell us how we got there.
What year is it? 2020.
So you posted this image in July 2019.
Oh hell, I probably shot it in 2017 then.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Because I would have shot. I got like a big hard on for these Tamahashi Nations, kind of the samurai spin on Star Wars figures. Is essentially what it is. They are neat. I think I have every one. I've kind of fallen out of. I haven't shot the new Kylo, the new First Order Trooper, because I'm a lazy asshole. But they're just cool looking figures. And these days, with my love of samurai culture, thanks to Ghost of Tsushima, I love it even more. So I'm not going to get angry today, Nick. I actually do agree with you that this isn't a half bad shot. This is one of those, a blind squirrel can find those nuts every once in a while. This is a luck shot. This is why I recommend on having a wired or wireless remote for your shutter, and always shoot on your, consecutive shots. What am I looking to say? There's a term for it, but I'm stupid, so figure it out.
I don't.
Essentially, you can set your shutter to take like 5 snaps in a button press, whatever the fuck that's called. High-speed shutter setting. There you go.
Yeah.
Because this way, what you do, Nick, you can be kind of an asshole like myself, a putz, and just stand a figure somewhere and bust out an M80 smoke bomb, hold it in your hand, hold your remote in your other hand, and start letting that smoke just billow out there on the figure and going snap, 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 and then when all the smoke's gone, you cross your fingers and hope that you got a usable shot in the end.
There we go.
Or you just break out another smoke bomb and do it again, and you have to then spend 2 hours going through 800 shots of the same figure to find one that you like. So I mean, that's kind of how this one works out. This would have been a complete luck shot. The smoke just got captured in the right way at the right time.
It did. So
there's no post-processing here. This is all practical.
For those of you on the audio only, what we see is a samurai stormtrooper. He's drawing a bow back in a classic kind of like samurai bow form, and Matt has this incredible smoke coming up right from under him. It's almost like he like you see in samurai films.
Yeah, he dropped a smoke
films,
bomb.
They throw a smoke bomb right when they're about to disappear, but he's like drawing his bow to take a shot right before he gets out of there.
Yeah, if you really want to look closely, I don't even have the fucking arrow notch properly. It's literally like hanging off the bow.
It's a little bit above his hand, but you know what? That's no problem. There's also no bowstring, but I wasn't going to say anything about that either.
I guess back then in Star Wars samurai times, they still had some sort of propulsion in their projectiles.
Exactly. All the bow was used for was stabilization. The arrow propelled itself.
I mean, honestly, Nick, I was using this technique just last week. I busted out the old M80s because, sometimes with the atmosphere aerosol, especially outside, if there's a decent amount of wind, it's not sticking. That shit, as soon as you blow it out of a can, just fucking whoop, just escapes the frame. So with these milky ass smoke bombs, you have a little bit more control. So I was trying some with the vintage FET. The shot I shared on at Haywood Pop last night is actual M80 smoke. It's not quite as billowy and milky as this, but that's what I was going for. So yeah, I mean,
vintage FET, man, he's so bright and colorful. Yeah, I love it.
Not too much of a shit on fest for this shot. So you did well.
Yeah, no, I like this shot, and I like this line too. Like you mentioned the Takahashi line of the samurai inspired figures for Star Wars.
Oh, they're great. There's two Vaders. There's a couple standard original trilogy Stormtroopers. There's an awesome 3PO. There's an even more awesome Darth Maul.
I almost picked one of the 3PO shots.
Yeah, those would have been a year old. Last May, I did those at Rehoboth. I remember that.
Okay.
This was done right in the backyard of Star Wars Time HQ.
There we go. So
right on the ground.
Beautiful shots. So for those of you who are looking for a more, thick, realistic smoke experience outside of atmosphere aerosol, try an M80 smoke bomb.
Yeah, they're the red M80 smoke bombs. They're all over the place in America around the 4th. You might still be able to get some in grocery stores if you're brave enough to go to a grocery store in Deathsville. Yep. So have fun.
There we go. So that brings us to the end of the Haywood Pop shot breakdown.
We did it.
Of the week.
We made it.
And that's the end of the cast. So Matt, it's time to dance.
Let's do it. Let's do it. That's what Greg was having me do in my pose. See? He was having me do the dance. Shake it. Shake it now. Shake it up. All right. So if you are new, if you're new and you're still here, what's your problem? But if you are new and you made it this far, you deserve an award. Or at least some applause. So thank you. Thank you. Hopefully our nonsense wasn't too offensive. Hopefully it was offensive enough for those of you that like shit that is offensive. And hopefully, if you did just tune in for the first time, you may consider coming back. And that's why we just did our little dance, because at the end of the show, we like to remind everyone how to keep us going, how to keep me, the Tinkerbell of the Star Wars Time Show, going. And that is by driving our numbers up. I'm talking about podcast numbers. So right here on StarWarsTime.net, you can hit the subscribe to podcast link. If you don't want to click on that link, you can just scroll down a little bit. In the sidebar, look, they're all there for you. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Android, Stitcher, Pandora. We're literally all over the tech space when it comes to podcasts. There are no more excuses. And if you are new, sub up, leave a rating and review, pretty please, especially on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, because those are our main feeders right now. We were getting down on you a little bit for July. We had a nice little uptick at the end of the July and almost got back to our June numbers, but they're still not good enough. We need many thousands. Remember, Star Wars Celebration 2022? Nick and I want to be there as podcasters. The only way to do that is more thousands of downloads every month. It's great that we're in the thousands now, but we need more thousands. How many more thousands? As many thousands as you can spare. It's the only way we live. It's the only way I stay alive in between shows, is to see the thousands, the likes, the reviews, the ratings, the thumbs ups, the comments. This is what keeps us going. Not real money. Who would want real money? We need the accolades. We need to be the next Noah Outlaw. We need to be as big as Kessel Run Transmissions. And it's up to you, the fans, to make it so. We will never take $1 from you until you make us actual popular Star Wars podcast hosts. Because we're not. We're losers. No one knows about the Star Wars Time Show. And it's your fault. We never take credit for it. It's not our fault that no one knows about us. It's not our fault our content sucks. It's your fault for not spreading the word. It's Star Wars Time 19 time, my friends. We've never spread the virus here, but we have been spreading the good word of the Star Wars Time Show. And why? Well, because there's always time for Star Wars Time. Damn it. Get used to it. And besides, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you. Always.